Drumroll finishes, and the target is hit.
And means it comes on finals night, and it's a knockout
Brilliant! Dirty Harrison! Van Velzen!
Had any chance. He's won them all. That's it. And Scott Campbell will go to Saturday night in Champions Week. What a performance that is. Oh, it's brilliant. Derek is getting so close.
Three to Coulson. On the first leg, Mcgherk.
That one's in.
Required for Davies, and 32 is pins. Winning chances, and this time it is taken by Sam Spivey.
Welcome along to the start of Group B here at the Live Lounge. It's Champions Week of Series 10 live on Pluto TV from Portsmouth, UK, and we're right into the thick of Champions Week now. Of course, we saw a fantastic start to Group C this afternoon. Jensen Walker leading the way in that, and of course Scott Campbell already through to Champions Night. Alongside me to guide you through the action this evening, it's Paul Nicholson and Matthew Edgar. Evening, gentlemen. A lot of fun so far this Champions Week.
Yeah, especially this afternoon. Group C was exceptional. Really enjoyed that. A record Group C amount of 180s with 48. And they may even break the Group C record of all time just by getting a mere 43 tomorrow if they can. But I think the way that everybody's come here this week with purpose and given us so many 90-plus averages this afternoon with a lot of ton-plus stuff, we should be very excited for tonight as well.
And the way it's set, it looks like we are going to have a good race to that top two spots tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely. And I can only echo that everyone's brought their A-game here this week. And when you look at the prize money that's available, people have had time to prepare and get ready for this now. Certainly with the inception now of the specials weeks, certainly gives those people that time to make sure they're ready to bring their best. And we've got some real prime players here and a real good dash. I think we've possibly lost two players now. Not mathematically, but I think it's a four-horse race tomorrow.
Jensen Walker leads the way in that group after his performance this afternoon. He started to find something on Wednesday, didn't he? So does it show that it's not just about how you start here? You've got to time things right.
Yeah, you do. He's had adversity this week. He's been in a situation where he's been 3-0 up and lost 4-3. And at times, his ability to bounce back in the next game has been brilliant. He's needed it in the first 4 days he's played, but in some of the games that he played in the middle of this afternoon's session, and especially towards the end, we're seeing a new level, which is very exciting.
Yeah, if you did miss any of the action this afternoon, this is how the table ended up. Jensen Walker, top of it, level on points with the experienced Mervyn King, who was favourite to win Champions Week at the start of it. Reece Robinson lurking behind them on 6 points, and Jared Cole as well. David Evans and Alex Small, the two players Matthew is referring to as probably out of the running now. And Scott Campbell, he made it through as the Group A winner earlier in the week, but tonight the focus is on Group B. Sam Spivey joins Devon Peterson, David Davies, and then Derek Coulson and Shane Mcgherk. And I want to start with Coulson. You were here earlier in the week, Paul. He needs to have gotten over that disappointment, doesn't he, of losing those last couple of matches and not getting through as a Group A winner.
He'll be okay. I've got no doubt in my mind about Derek. I think the level he was playing at, he had the highest average daily, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. He had the highest percentage on doubles, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. Matt and I talked a little bit this afternoon about how that was slightly misleading for the end result. But the most important thing with the last two matches in Group A on Wednesday afternoon, it's that he did not lose those games. They were won by superior players playing the best of their ability. Now, Scott Campbell did do something exceptional. He had the now tied best average of the week against Coulson, but the game after that, Shane Mcgherk was on a free roll. He had nothing to lose at all. He knew he was going to be third. He went out there, he opened his shoulders, and Derek couldn't do anything about it. So no fault of Derek. He didn't play bad. He just didn't get the win.
Yeah, we'll see Mcgherk as well, but 3 players coming in, playing for the first time on this Champions Week tonight. Devin Peterson, of course, won the ADC Global Championship here. I mean, really thrived then. Probably the best starts we've seen for a year or two from him. Is Champions Week kind of made for a player like Devin?
He'll love this, won't he, Devin Peterson? He's built for these sort of environments and this sort of match. And when we look at Devin, he's changed a lot in recent times. I was doing an exhibition with him a couple of months back, and he was hammering the treble 20 on the practice board. I was like, Dev, you're playing well. He goes, no, I've worked some out in my throw. He goes, I know what I've been doing wrong. I know what I need to fix. And he goes, with practice, I'll be able to go do well. And then he goes and wins the Global Championships. And then he goes to Q School. He's got expectation. Everyone thinks he's going to go get his card. I think that was probably the best thing to happen to him, because it's going to give him a year now where he can become a winner again. We saw the scenes on social media, what it meant to him, and the reaction to him winning a week here at the Super Series. Imagine if he goes and wins a Champions Week. He'd love that, and I think that would really be a good build back to where he was, which is a European Tour champion.
Absolutely. Let's show you what the bookies think then. Devin Peterson is third in the betting, 15-4. Derek Coulson, the favourite to win this group. They like what they saw earlier in the week from him. Shane Mcgherk, second favourite. Sam Spivey, 15-4. Davies, have to say, Paul, in a familiar position of being the outsider. Do they not learn?
Scott Campbell, earlier in the week, was 22-1. He's just won Group A. They're getting it wrong. David Davies is not the outsider in this group. He's the dark horse. He's someone who has won 2 consecutive times in the last series. He made the semi-finals of Series 9. Are these bookies not listening? This guy is dangerous. He's maybe playing the best starts of his career. And when we list who he came through in his winning week, you've got to be scared of David Davies, because he is ready.
What are you expecting from tonight?
It's going to be close. It's going to be tight. This wouldn't surprise me if we get one of those nights where everyone ends on the same points and we go, let's all play for tomorrow. No one's going to be out of the running. No one's going to be through. Everyone's going to get a defeat somewhere. I can't see anyone dominating this.
Well, Champions Night is getting closer and closer. Just 35 games to go until the big occasion here at the Modus Super Series. Don't forget, it's live from 7:30 on Saturday. But tonight we are going to see the final 3 contenders join the action as Group B gets underway and Champions Week continues.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series champion.
Bullseye for the win. Absolutely incredible.
And what a Champions Week it has been so far as well. Scott Campbell already through to Champions Night. And tonight we're going to see the final remaining players in action. One of them, Sam Spivey, on the stage now, ready to take on Shane Mcgherk, who had a mixed campaign in Group A. Really found himself clinging on to a Group B spot at the end of that group after a difficult day on Wednesday. But he did win arguably the most significant match when he defeated Derek Coulson, denying Derek a couple of days off. He's going to be in action as well in this group, but it is Seaside Sam Spivey from Scarborough who is in action sometime after that weekly win when he won week 3 of this series, and a week later Shane Mcgherk was lifting the trophy on that stage. Paul Nicholson and Matthew Edgar have made their way to the commentary box. Paul Hinks will oversee proceedings on the stage, and we have got 10 matches coming your way. Enjoy them. All yours, guys.
Thanks, Murph. It's all about Yorkshire, isn't it? Presenters from Yorkshire, referees from Yorkshire. Unfortunately, we aren't.
First leg, Sam to through first. Game on.
But then again, Mr. Spivey is. He's from Scarborough, and he's come to another coastal part of England to try and get glory over the next 3
100.
days. But his first mission is to make Saturday night, something that he did in week number 3, and he did
100.
quite comfortably as well. Interesting to have Sam back, Mr. Edgar. There are people who are expecting him to do very well this week.
60.
And many weeks as well. The first week he came down here to the Super Series, I had a lot of interaction, a lot of messages from people saying, keep your eye on this guy.
140.
One of them is on the stage right now, Mr. Paul Hinks, a man who's seen everything. He has refereed World Championship finals. He has seen the very best of the best. And
97.
he doesn't give recommendations out too lightly. And he reckons that Sam Spivey has got it, whatever it may be.
And we've been spoiled
57.
with left-handers this week. 1/4 of the field are lefties. And we've never had a left-handed champion.
45.
We've had someone from up towards Scarborough who's made a final in Graham Usher.
45.
That was all the way back in Series 1.
Well, he's left and right-handed, isn't he, Graham Usher? Can play equally as well with either hand, which I do think is the next sort of big thing within darts.
159.
Oh, that's wonderful from Spivey. Just a little taste of what he can do.
49. Sam Mcgherk, 40.
And just because he's one of the outsiders to win this group, don't be fooled.
Game
Because
show on
he's taken the
leg,
first
Sam
leg.
Spivey.
And he is as cool as a cucumber. He might not
Second
have
leg,
the
Jamie
cool
through
name like
first.
Derek,
Game on.
but this guy is unflappable. And Mcgherk should know enough, because when he came here in week 4,
100.
that was only 36 hours after Spivey had won.
$140.
You do feel McGurk's playing this year with quite a weight on his shoulders, though, don't you, in regards to that WDF World Championship that he picked up at the Lakeside? Now, in the past, you'd have said picking up that title almost put a bullseye on your back, that people wanted to see and come up against you and beat you, where I think nowadays
60.
that title has a bit of weight to it in regards to people kind of want to see you fall after winning that one.
I think that's just part and parcel of
100.
modern day sport, especially in countries like Ireland, the UK, and maybe to a certain degree Germany and the Netherlands in darts, that if you succeed,
60.
there are people who want to tear you down.
161.
We don't want to tear Shane down. We just want to give him opportunities. We think he's brilliant. We always have thought
137.
that. And we wish him well. We just want to see him playing brilliantly, like he has over the last few months.
And like he did out that week at Lakeside, he was exceptional. Didn't lose a set till the very last game.
85. Shane Mcgherk, 24.
And in a game early in the tournament, he didn't
Game
even
show
miss a
on the second
double.
leg, Shane
Isn't that right,
Mcgherk.
Shane? And he starts like he did at a certain Lakeside up the
Alexander
road.
through first. Game on.
I do believe that that's the only time that's ever happened in a World Championship game.
Indeed. Now, you're the ideal person to talk to about this.
136.
At that point, he's still called Arrow. I don't know why he's called that. I don't even want to speculate. But nicknames should be born
100.
from something you have done or something you are. Why Shane Mcgherk is not Mr. Perfect, I've got no idea.
60.
Because he was the first ever to do a perfect doubles performance in a World Championship match.
I see what you've done there, very Kurt Henning.
180.
I think I would go slightly different, and I'd be Mr. 100%.
Do you think that would have put additional
58.
pressure on him, though? Probably would.
I think any time you're going to put a star on your shirt, you're always going to have a bit of pressure that follows you around.
Has he got a star?
I
57.
hope so now.
This looks like the same kind of shirt that he wore before he was able to put a star on the shirt.
100.
Now, Sam
Show your car 164.
had control after leg one. Mcgherk could take control away.
Is it on the collar?
92. Sam your car 147.
Maybe it washed off.
We are star spotting here at the Modus Super Series. Well, I can see two of them. They've both got darts in their
85.
hand, and there's
Show
one with a
your car
microphone to make it
72.
3. Double 12 for Shane. Whatever you do,
Being
just
shown
keep
the third
leaving
leg,
that,
Shane Mcgherk.
because he keeps hitting it.
Couple of quality
Four leg
legs there for
changes
Shane
reversed.
McGurk
Game
to
on.
take the lead here against Sam Spivey. Showing that quality once again.
60.
Yeah, played very well in Group A, did Shane. Averaged a lot of his games over the 90 mark.
And we have seen this afternoon, haven't we? The players that sort of have been here
60.
all week, able to find that extra gear quicker. And we did speak this afternoon as well about what it means to people when you look at the likes of Mervyn King, who's
99.
played in multiple World Championships and all the big events. For Sam Spivey, this is probably the biggest tournament of which he's played in so far. So it may take him a couple of games just to
100.
get used to things again and get used to the environment of which he's playing in, because this is a couple of days away from potentially £25,000, which is
134.
a serious amount of money. You don't know what it's going to mean to the players, what it could do to their careers, what it could do to their lifestyle.
51.
What it could mean for the people that are close to them. I know that Sam is very talented. But based on what
45.
we know about him, he's only been here a couple of times. I think his biggest accolade is this level-headedness. He just does
140.
not lose composure.
97.
There was an argument
Sam your car 150.
for bull with the last dart. Shane is still needing a treble or a bullseye to get 2 darts at double for a
44.
3-1 lead.
Show your car 66.
And even though Sam has lost control of this game, he is staying level-headed.
46. Sam
He
your
might
car
need this if
106.
he wants to win this first match of Group A in Champions Week. Double 16.
74. Show your car 20.
Doesn't show any emotion. Shane's had a few darts at double 10 like this. How does he hit this? That's how.
No score. Sam
It
your
was
car
right on line.
32.
Just needed a little bit more height.
Getting short
Yeah,
of
well
4th
found
leg,
it's
Sam
2-2.
Spivey.
Not without a scare, though.
And that'll frustrate Shane McGurk as well. He's
Looks
just
like
put
Sam
2
just
really
reversed.
good quality legs in back to break the throw. And then 21 darts with the throw. Wasn't able to hold, and now he's got to find another break against Sam.
Is that Sam Spivey's dart case I can see on the table?
140.
It looks like it's made of Bakelite or something like that. Something you would have got in the 1960s.
60.
It's only a matter of time before those dart cases come back into fashion.
$140.
Well, Sam came through an Irish player in his final in week 3.
100.
Won Group C. Then on finals night he came through Ronan McDonough. who had a very up and down week. And did he bring some fans
90.
come that Saturday night? Look at that. That's Shane Mcgherk's.
I like it. And it's one of those that's made
140,
purely for these moulded
Summercar
systems, isn't it?
131.
So you can just drop his darts in, good to go. However, I'm also going to critique this. We was big fans of the old Shane
57.
McGurk case because he used to stand it up, display all the branding. Can't really do that anymore, can he?
Shane, you've changed.
85. Summercar 74.
He hasn't really. He's just still the same guy.
Game show on the fifth leg.
But it might not be the
Spivey.
result he's looking for. He's now 3-2 down. Those misses at double 10
Six-leg
for
Shane deserved
Mcgherk in the
first.
previous
Game
leg
on.
really are costly now.
And this game's starting how I imagine the whole
93.
evening's probably going to go. And that is just tight, close contested games where any mistake is going to be punished.
100.
The week after Spivey won, Mcgherk claimed his first weekly title. We actually had to wait until week 5 for someone
140.
that wasn't a first-time champion. That was Rhys Robinson. He's in the mix tomorrow in Group C. Make sure that you're tuned to Pluto TV from 1
100.
p.m. local time to see what happens there. But when Mcgherk was beating Danny van Tripe, the very tall and dangerous Dutchman, after winning Group B,
121.
the WDF champ was doing something that he'd never done here before after quite a few attempts.
140.
It really
Summercar
meant a lot to him, didn't it,
147.
when Shane Mcgurk picked up that title? It was like confirmation for him. It was a personal battle for himself. Certainly after picking up
101.
that title at
Summercar
Lakeside, just wanted
161.
something to confirm it, to frank that form. But this, well, it was for the match. Had he found the treble 17, Shane
97.
Mcgurk a chance to extend the
Summercar
game
46.
and take us to what could be the first of many 4-3s this evening.
A chance to extend, Matt says.
10.
It
Summercar
may not be
64.
extended. Spivey may spy an opportunity. I spy with my little eye a win
Game show on the mat,
for Sam Spivey. He's dangerous. He's unflustered. He will not be looking into the lens. That's not his style. He goes up there, he sips his water, he throws his darts, he shakes hands, and on this occasion, he wins. 50% on the doubles, that's a very good statistic. He does a lot of that over the course of the next couple of nights. He could be very dangerous indeed. Devin Peterson, the ADC Global Champion, is now up against Derek Coulson.
Are you ready to lift that trophy, Darius? Yes. Let's do it then. Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series 9 champion is Lucky D, Darius Lewandowski!
Well, what a wonderful night of darts we have seen, and we are ready. Our champion is ready, and it's trophy time. So receive the trophy. £25,000. The new Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And one more time, the 8th Modus Super Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And the new Modus Super Series champion is Andreas Dirty Harrison. And one more time, the 7th Modus Super Series champion. Give it up for Andreas Dirty Harrison.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Would you please show your appreciation for your Series 6 Modus Super Series champion, Scott Taylor.
One more time, your new Modus Super Series champion. He is Chucky. He is Jim McGherk.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series champion, retaining his title, the Luke Littler.
Yeah, it's getting closer, isn't it? The big occasion under the roof at the Live Lounge, where this place will be packed for Champions Night on Saturday. Will this pair be there? Devon Peterson about to get his Champions Week campaign underway after winning his week earlier in the series, following up that fantastic performance to become the ADC Global Champion at the back end of last year. He takes on Derek Coulson. He'll be a tough cookie. Almost won Group A earlier in the week, but Peterson knows what it takes to win titles. Of course, a European Tour champion. He's played all around the world. The man from Mitchell's playing in Cape Town, South Africa, going up against, a relative newcomer in darting terms, and that might seem strange to say about somebody 56 years of age, but Derek Coulson has really emerged in recent years as a proper player. And we've got two proper pundits and commentators to guide you through this one. It's back to Paul and Matt.
That's the first time I've been called proper in a while. I appreciate that compliment, Murph. Nice to have a proper opportunity right here to see Derek Coulson. He's hoping to get a proper head start on
First
a few of the
leg,
players
Davies is through
in
first.
this group.
Game on.
Looking to get a better start than Shane Mcgherk, who's just lost 4-2 to the very dangerous Sam Spivey. But back comes Devon, and
140.
starts in typical fashion at the bed that he practices more than anything, Matthew Edgar.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing this game and seeing Devon Peterson actually in 2025. I think it's going to be a very exciting watch because
120.
it'll be interesting to see how it goes for him. Mentioned at the very top of the show that I was doing an exhibition with Devon Peterson not too long ago, who informed me he'd worked out the issue within his throne.
100.
Since then has picked up the ADC Global Championship, he's playing significantly better darts and won a week here at the Super Series. So not only is it something he feels he has improved on, but the proof is also in the results.
140.
The results are looking good.
Well, you can't miss him.
60.
That shirt isn't bright. It is another word. It's borderline fluorescent. So you've got two people here
60.
who are the exact antithesis of each other. Someone who is vibrant and character-filled and fast
140.
up against Derek, He's your old school type of player. Tidy. Man, a few words.
57. Devin Newcar, 61.
Well, that's what darts can be all about. Different personalities, different approaches. This time it's double 4.
Getting shown the
Yeah, there's
first
nothing
leg,
wrong
Devin
with that.
Peterson.
Solid. 15 darter.
Second leg, Derek, you throw
That's
first. Game on.
100.20 the average there for Devin Peterson. He'll be hoping if he can replicate that, that is more than enough. Certainly with the darts, forces your opponent into a 12, which we know Derek Coulson
100.
certainly got the capabilities of that. I did say at the start, didn't he? An emerging player despite being 56, but I think what we are seeing now is the development of opportunities. We're going to see this a lot
84.
more. This story isn't going to just be written by the young players now. There's going to be players that have been playing the game for 20, 30 years who have never really committed to the travel. I think they're going to start to emerge now that the travel has been eliminated.
I agree.
140.
I think Derek Coulson has been nothing but a success story over the last 12 months here. When he first came here, he didn't make a massive splash, but
100.
he got people's attention. But then, when he was involved in his first winning week, and he came through into
91.
the Champions Week shortly after that, people started thinking, hang on, you're better than we thought. And he's been a mainstay at the Super Series ever since, and very,
80.
very successful.
Derek, you were a car, 170.
We don't have enough Derricks in darts. Bring back the Derrick.
$60.
And Devon's had a dart on the floor in this leg, and that will happen to him every now and again because he gets them so close together.
140. Derek Carr,
Notice how the darts are moving when they hit each other. He's well placed here, but Devon can easily take out 97. And decided against
57. Derek
going
Carr, 32.
double 19 tops.
Getting shown the second leg.
He relied
Derek
on a bit of
Coulson.
fortune. None of it came smack bang in the middle, that for Derek Coulson.
Third leg, Devon to throw first.
Good,
Game
strong
on.
starts for both on the throw.
Do you remember when Prince changed his name to the artist formerly known
44.
as Prince?
Yes.
And then he changed it again and he was just a symbol.
Is that what you're trying to say with Derek Coulson's shirt there on the back?
No, quite the opposite. Looks like Devon's changed his
60.
name to Dartboard Maths. That's what he's got in the back of his shirt. Maybe that's just him saying that's who I am now.
57.
Maybe he's going to come in tomorrow with a little patch on there saying the artist formerly known as Devin Peterson.
Those symbols on his shirt may be interactive. You can press them. Well, he has been doing some
100.
tremendous work trying to get everybody involved with the maths side of the sport. He played darts with Rachel Riley at the World Championship.
21.
Looking at things like national numeracy. I was privileged to be with Devon at Nescott College a few weeks back. We were looking at opening some maths classrooms at a college in Epsom in Surrey. That was a very humbling day.
140.
And everybody at Nescott College does an incredible job. Including a lovely lady by the name of Julie Capsulis, who's a big darts fan.
44.
He does a great job with the kids over there at Nescott. There's actually now a Devin Peterson classroom. Imagine saying that to one of your friends at college. Where will I see you next? I'll see you at Devin Peterson.
139.
I'm actually slightly jealous by that.
I got my own classroom too. So did Michael van Gerwen.
Even more jealous,
41.
look.
WK 62.
I might have to build a statue for my own office now.
Nice work. It's double 16 again for Derek.
30.
What really happened for Devon here? He'd already won the first leg in 15 darts, and after 15 darts here, has just gone out the 300s.
WK 32.
Well, that's a beautiful marker. That's even better.
Game shot on the third leg, Derek Coulson.
And well used. Derek will be a bit mystified as to how this game has gone.
Fourth leg,
He was
Derek
closed out
first.
early, but
Game
since
on.
then, it's been pretty easy pickings. If you were going to give Derek a nickname, what would it be? Because I can't get away from this other D word. It's a buzzword. Dangerous. It's what he is.
Okay, I'll go with this.
180.
If you like the idea of dangerous, and his initials are DC, how about the villain?
57.
You've gone down the Batman route, haven't you? Because he's like the anti-villain. You know that Devon was thinking
81.
9-darter there after dart 4.
Especially the way it was stood up in the board. Sometimes you get a good dart where you just feel you can work off that, and that did seem to be one of those. That's not a good one for Derek. And there you go, the reaction. I think you'd normally come away here.
Now he will.
94.
All to do with the angle of entry.
Maybe getting blinded by
100.
Devon's shirt.
WK 170.
Calm down, Derek. It's just a commercial. Don't calm down. Go for the bull.
Ooh, 145.
weight of dart was
WK
perfect.
140.
We saw this check out earlier in the week from Jensen Walker. He got it on double 16.
100. WK 25.
This could be Dream Street for Derek. This time it's double 10.
Game shot on the fourth leg, Derek
He's
Coulson.
lethal now. That average is climbing up to
Fifth leg,
94.
Devon to through first. Game on.
And Devon's in a bit of early trouble. And there's only one player yet to be seen in Champions
78.
Week, but he will be next. And that is the very under the radar, unheralded, but very, very accomplished David Davies. To think that he's the outsider
38.
for this group is unfathomable, considering the week that he came through.
100.
And let's not forget, David Davies took out Jimmy Van Schie. And that takes an awful lot of effort on a Saturday night. It shouldn't be
58.
forgotten as well that Derek, in his qualifying week, didn't lose a game. Only the second time that's ever happened. The other person to do it, Bo Greaves.
100.
Just get that same sort of vibe with Derek Coulson, who's sort of hit the
57.
international platform, shall we say, within the world of darts quite late. And it reminds me of a story we've already seen here at the Super Series. Reminds me very much of the story of Jim McEwen.
140.
Someone who was a quality player, didn't quite commit to the systems, committed to it quite late and got his reward here at the Super Series, winning a series title. That's a big sort of crowning moment, and you sort of feel there's going to be a moment, don't you, for Derek
134.
Coulson
WK
somewhere.
83.
I have to agree with that. That's a great comparison. Well, Devon is comfortable in this leg.
31.
It feels that way anyway. There isn't any pressure on this 52. Not yet, at least.
100.
There's a little bit more now. We are about to find out if he will pay for those misses at double 16. Coulson, with a ton plus checkout, the only one of the game, could win it right here.
74. Devon Car 32.
He'll have to wait for more opportunities.
Getting shot on the fifth
Well done,
leg,
Devon.
Peterson.
He will understand just how dangerous
Six leg
Coulson
Kelly
is
to throw
because,
first.
like our
Game
previous
on.
match, Matt, Mcgherk was going up against someone tonight in his first match. And the week before their success,
60.
the person they are playing in their first game were succeeding that week before. Devon won week 8, and that was fresh off Coulson
80.
winning week 7. I don't think we should forget as well, that Saturday night was mad that Peterson was here. He beat Andreas Harrison, the Series 7 champion, twice 4-0.
96.
We know the capabilities, don't we, of Devon Peterson when you look at how high he's got in the world rankings, a European Tour
100.
winner. Very dangerous when he finds his game, but did lose his way, didn't he? It was the action that sort of broke down for him, and he sort of couldn't work out why. The darts just sort of kicking in at funny angles,
100.
completely lost the control. But has put a lot of effort into rebuilding. And that's despite all the other ventures that he's involved with as well. To find the time to
81.
rebuild the action the way he has is very admirable.
Absolutely right. His throw has always been about checkpoints. And his focus primarily is making sure that he's got enough drawback
60.
so that he can propel the dart at the right position, because he has at times limited the amount of distance that the
100.
dart is drawn back, so it's usually too late.
And with limited drawback, it all becomes muscle and push.
And that puts a lot of pressure on the right shoulder, the rib cage,
145. Devon Car 140.
because he's all forward motion. He's not going to go backwards if he loses this game, but he will
100.
stand
Devon Car
still.
40. Getting shot on the match,
Derek
Derek
does not
Coulson.
hesitate. The last 2 times he was on the stage, he was done by ton plus averages. On this occasion, Derek was tested early, but he took control, and he will love the fact that he has got off to a winning start. Devon took the first leg and looked very comfortable, but after that, it looked like hard work. Derek, 4-2 victory, 90 average, and 4 out of 9 in the doubles. An ideal start for him. Next, David Davies joins the pack.
$54. Charlie McGuire, 164. $44. $32. Charlie required 120.
Well, 120. He's got a fair, at least 2 handfuls at this. Just needs to stay
60.
there. That's a good shot. Halves his score. Leaves himself on a 2-darter.
$26. Charlie
Time on his
required
side
60.
to become that back-to-back singles champion.
Definitely a couple of nerves in those last two darts, but he'll be coming back.
The moment he's been in before this situation. Standing at the back of the stage, approaching the hockey with a chance to win the title.
He did this to win the first title, if you remember. I think he's gone. I think he's gone to bust it, maybe. The first title he wanted 20. He went 6-7-7 to win it. He had a chance to replicate it again.
Yeah, I get the feeling that was for a bust, and
39.
on that situation there, George Scaife wasn't even able to take it out going to the 18s on that switch.
Yeah, I think he just panicked a bit, but he's done well to get that big one.
Sometimes can be the hardest part.
Georgia requires
This is it.
79.
It's got to be 19s. It's got to be 19s for this shot. Big 20 and a double. He's got the first one. He's going to get a match dart here.
Charlie
Threw the entire body into that
8.
one. Just didn't want to let go of the dart.
No score.
He's given George a chance.
Georgia require 20.
I think George has been quite good on double 10 today.
So many opportunities for Charlie Murphy. Couldn't get the job done.
The match! And the Red Dragon
George
Modus
Scaife.
Super Series Influencers Champion, George Scaife!
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series on Champions Week, where so far in Group B we've had 4-2 victories for Sam Spivey and Derek Coulson. And Spivey is back on stage. He could be making a fabulous start to his Champions Week campaign if he can get the better of Davies in this third match of the night. The Welshman, who had great success as the outsider when he won his week, and he finds himself as the outsider once again. His opponent here, Seaside Sam, as mentioned, got that 4-2 win in his opening match of the group. That was against Shane Mcgherk. Davies is kicking off his Champions Week campaign. Winner of Week 10. Twice he's won a week at the Super Series and got to the semi-finals on the previous Champions Week as well. Spivey, 29 years of age from Scarborough, winner of Week 3 and winner of Game 1 tonight. And guiding you through Game 3 and all 10 matches this evening are Matthew Edgar and Paul Nicholson.
Yes, very much looking forward to seeing David Davies back. He would love to be back at Champions Night. He was there in Series 9 and he was part of the final 4 of the series. He's still part of the final 12, although we are of the thinking that maybe we're down to 10.
Game on.
That's no disrespect to Alex Small, the fellow Welshman of David, and of course David Evans. But from their position in Group C, it does look decidedly
100.
unlikely that they can make the top 2, but you never know. But Davies was involved in a very, very special week in this series.
59.
Any week that involves Jimmy Van Schie is special and loud and vibrant. But he's not here. Davies is.
140.
Tom Sykes as well. He beat him in the semi-finals. When you look at that, that is two of the best players we have here at the Super Series. And the way it was panning out, it looked almost destiny, didn't it, that they would be on a collision course for the final. And neither of them was able to pick up the title. It was the man who was the biggest outsider of them all, as he is once again tonight. But the consistency
121
is the real key at the moment to the elevation of the game of David Davies.
I think we should also tip our hat to the fact that that night that Davies won,
140.
there was a former WDF #1 there in Brian Roman. doing silly things. And Tommy Morris was there. And Simon
100.
Whitlock was
Sam
there.
Mcgherk 170.
But they aren't here. The 170 is not going to be found. But this looks like a very
96.
assured
David Mcgherk 40.
Di Davies at the start of this one, looking to get a 13-darter.
When he won that week, this target was working so
He's on the
well
first
for
leg,
him, and it
David
is again
Davies.
here in the opening leg. That tops is a real
Sound like Sam
weapon
to do
for
first.
him when he's
Game
playing
on.
well. 14-darter.
In that final
99.
against Jimmy Van Schie, he had one solitary maximum. He almost had 100 average. And he was 44% on the doubles. That kind of
96.
formula will take you a long way if you can recreate it an awful lot.
If he recreates it here this week, you suggest that he'd be going
60.
home with another 25 grand in the pocket.
And
58.
if you look at the nations that have won a series, I don't see Wales anywhere. I see England. I see Australia. I see Scotland. The last 3 series have been won by
41.
European countries in Sweden, the Netherlands, and Lithuania, but Wales isn't there. It's been there in Liverpool tonight. Gezi Price has won
100.
in Liverpool at the Premier League. Many congratulations to the Iceman, taking out the world #1 Luke Humphries in the final match. But imagine if it's Welsh glory. Imagine the bragging rights that Davies would
100.
take back to Denby and thrust into the face of Mark Webster. In his own words, when he won his first weekly title here, he said, I wouldn't be here if
140.
it wasn't for Webster. And that's just the importance that Mark Webster has had on North Walian darts.
41. David Mcgherk
And actually, the darts which
107.
David Davies is using some Mark Webster tungsten.
An old set as well. They don't even make them anymore.
44. Sam Mcgherk 160.
That's a big ask. He couldn't take a 170 in the first leg. This is slightly easier. Oh, he props it up, but he just ran out of room.
100. David Mcgherk 63.
Double 12. He
39.
was going for the flight and
Sam
he missed
Mcgherk
it.
60.
This is tricky for Spivey, the same way it is for Alex Small with those long darts.
Game shown.
But there's something very assured about that.
Third leg, David is through first. Game on.
So now we've
60.
seen every player throw at least 2 legs on this stage here this week. Nobody is a mystery. But apparently, Davies is the outsider
60.
in this group. I cannot come up with a reason for that. I just don't compute it. He's the only person in the field this
96.
week who has been to a semi-final of a Champions Night. He's won a week prior to this series. So he's a serial winner, just like Rhys Robinson and Derek Coulson. Yet,
140.
he's the outsider? Go figure.
Yeah, surprise.
96.
Earlier in the week, we scoffed at Scott Campbell being the outsider for Group A at 22-1. What did he do? He showed them,
100.
and he referenced it in an interview yesterday. He said, I saw that price. I didn't get angry at it. I used it as motivation. And if Davies saw his odds,
134.
he's showing that he is not an outsider kind of player.
Maybe once he gets that
139.
sort of big title, that moment,
115.
a victory on the Challenge Tour, a victory at the Super Series here on the Champions Week, maybe those odds will disappear.
That leg has disappeared,
David Davis.
courtesy of a Ton Plus checkout. No matter where he looks,
through first. Game on.
he's looking very comfortable. Now, he's not a flashy player. I don't think either of these guys are. Give me a shirt, stick my name on it, or in the case of Davies, don't bother.
180.
Give me the darts I want and let rip. And there will not be any reactions until something is vital.
60.
We did just get an opportunity to see the name in which you're talking about there. Stick the name on the shirt for Sam Spivey.
140.
Seaside added on there. You a fan of Seaside, Sam? Or are you more down the Henry Deacon Spivey man?
I'm not sure Sam is too fond of Spivey, man. But as for Seaside Sam, sounds like a chippy.
135.
It makes sense. His name's Sam. He's from the seaside. But the problem is, what if you don't live at the sea? What if he moves?
I've always said that about the Baltic Sea Darts Open on the European Tour.
66.
It's not as if you're going to move it to Munich. It's nowhere near the Baltic Sea. So, Sam, don't move inland. Stay on the coast, which is exactly where Tops is.
Quite a distance, though, from coast to coast, isn't it? From Scarborough down to Portsmouth. Well, it's got to be at least 6 hours, that.
It's a long schlep. Especially if you go the long route. All the way down the coast to Hull and down through Norfolk.
60.
Through Essex, Sussexes, and then into Hampshire.
Do you know the best thing about Scarborough?
The fish and chips?
100.
The Harbour Bar. Anyone who's been to Scarborough before will know. Homemade ice creams. And they're massive. Massive. Size of your arm.
40.
Oh, consider me there. Isn't that where Graham Usher's from? Scarborough?
Yes.
140.
They breed some pretty good lefties in Scarborough. Is everybody a lefty in Scarborough?
Which is quite ironic, because I've been to Scarborough many times, and it's not easy to find a dartboard.
97.
Just north of Bridlington, where they used to hold the World Masters.
One of my lasting memories of Bridlington is seeing Stephen Bunting singing out of a B&B window once. Things you thought you'd never see.
Just go to one of his exhibitions. He seems to be singing gold at it every week, doesn't he?
Samraka 81.
Well, Sam's going to feel like gold in a minute. This is a beautiful burst he's putting together. He's looking at the bull.
56.
He nearly finds it.
164.
This is a step up from Spivey. And at the minute, Davies is finding it pretty hard to stick with him.
78. Samraka 25.
That time could be running out here. If Sam Spivey can take out the 25, it will be a break of throw. And he'll have control over this fixture.
Game shown the
Control is his.
Sam Spivey.
He's living in a lovely zone of 4
Game
and
on.
5 visit legs now. And even though Davies is playing pretty well at a 91 average level, there's a difference in average amount of visits in this match.
41.
Sam is living at 5 visits. Dave is living at 6.
140.
Nobody calls him Dave. He's either David or Die. But this leg is do or die.
180.
We have not been starved of 180s today. Group C with 48. That's a record for a daily
100.
campaign in a Group C ever. But it's still not the best of any group. That is still 51. Champions Week
140.
in Series 8. That was a stacked Group A. But 3 maximums in this game for Spivey have got him staring down a possible 4-2 victory.
100.
Just like the
Samukar,
previous 2 matches
140.
tonight.
$75.
Things are not going to get
Mcgherk,
easier for
161.
Davies if he does lose this match. He's got Coulson next. And he's going to need some mistakes from Spivey if he wants to get out of jail here.
$125. Samukar, 65.
That leaves 56. And it's only 1 dart. But
Game
that's
shown
the
about
only
Sam
one he
Spivey.
needs. What an exceptional performance from Spivey. That is the best we've seen tonight by more than 10 points. It's our first ton plus average. And you will not find one person here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth who is surprised by that, because Sam is very, very good and very, very dangerous. You don't win a week without having that in the bank. And he wins by 4 legs to 2 against the Welshman.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where Sam Spivey has won both of his games by a 4-2 scoreline in Group B tonight. The two players on stage have lost both of their matches so far. 4-2 defeat for each of them. Shane Mcgherk to Spivey and Devon Peterson to Derek Coulson in the second game of the evening before Spivey got that 4-2 win over Davies before the break. So now the O will go for one of this pair, but which will it be? We'll find out in the company of the asset Paul Nicholson and primetime Matthew Edgar.
Ding ding, round one between these two. And in the blue corner,
First leg Shane is through first. Game on.
that is the WDF World Champion Shane Mcgherk. And in the red corner, it is the ADC Global Champion. It is a unification battle of sorts for a
6-8.
completely different title, which is the title of winner of this game and maybe getting closer to a Super Series champion.
100.
I'm not sure they get a trophy for that one, though. The winner of this game award.
140.
They'll get 2 points,
Which on this week is very valuable.
especially in Group B, because matches are at a
6-8.
premium. Now, these two both lost their first game. Mcgherk lost to Spivey.
60.
He's gone on to double his total. Peterson lost to Coulson, who's up against Davies next. So whoever loses this game
81.
will see no points for the first 25% of their group. You haven't got much breathing room when it comes to this
100.
group, that's for sure. So who's the favourite? They both got 2 legs. They both lost 4.
115.
Mcgherk had a 90 average.
Shane
Peterson with an
41.
84. It's pretty much 50-50. Could be as simple as the person who has the darts is the favourite, and that is Mcgherk.
I think that was our sort of synopsis of the day as well, wasn't it, when we looked
74.
before Group B
Devon
started this
Car,
evening. We said most
145.
games do have that sort of 50-50 vibe about them, which is exactly what you expect here on a Champions Week.
129. Shane 67.
He's going to go for tops.
27. Devon
Sails over. And when Devon's on form, this is usually a formality.
Getting shown the first leg, Devon Peterson.
Second time tonight he's taken the opening leg of a game.
Second leg,
But this
Devon
is
to
where
do
it went
first.
wrong
Game on.
against Coulson. He had the good start. He couldn't build on it.
$100.
Is that the longest start that you've seen on tour? Any tour? Or is it just some sort of visual illusion?
Mike De
140.
Decker has very long darts, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has a very short stem and flight though, doesn't he? This is accentuated by a longer one-piece system.
95.
Yeah, Devon Peterson darts, also known as javelins.
140.
I should have saved this for when
139.
he plays against Spivey. But you know what a javelin is? Not in the sporting sense.
131. Devon Car 167.
A javelin is a SAM. Do you know what a SAM is?
A dart player who's top of the table.
78.
He is right
Shane
now.
Car 90.
It's a surface-to-air missile. Speaking of missiles,
Game shown
There's
the second
two.
leg, Shane Mcgherk.
Mcgherk immediately breaks back.
Third leg, Shane to through first. Game on.
You speak to anybody in Ireland, ask them what a Shane is, they'll say a champion. Doesn't matter if you're talking about Mcgherk or Lowry. To be a champion in Ireland,
91.
it really does mean something. There's a great sense of pride with that immense nation that is
140.
famous across the world for many things. But when they have a champion of something, that lifts the entire country. Sonia O'Sullivan at running. You think about Steve Collins at boxing. You think about Shane Lowry at golf. And you can add Shane Mcgherk to that.
And I'm not surprised because I did spend some time in Ireland last year. I went to Killarney. And when I was there, one of the things that was very notable is how much they all support their own.
134.
You go to any
Shane
country,
81.
the second the players are knocked out, they go. Not in Ireland. They stick around, they support the event, they watch the darts, they want to see who wins
49.
the tournament. And that room was as full for the finals of the event as it was for the first round.
Always been the case in Killarney, whether it's PDC or WDF. They've held both kinds of events.
21.
And Shane has won there before.
32.
That's what started all of this. Irish Open champion.
$16.
He can still have a 2-1 lead. He might have to stop messing around on doubles, though.
Shane 16.
He was 2 from 8 in his first game.
$12.
Oh, that could spell
55.
trouble. Are we looking at a third consecutive break of throw?
Game shown
That
the
we
third
are.
leg, Devon Peterson.
2 out of 3 on the doubles for
Fourth leg,
Devon.
Devon to throw first. Game on.
He gets an opportunity. He takes it. Against Coulson, he wasn't getting those opportunities because Coulson was fairly
42.
useful on the doubles when he was playing in game 2. He was 4 out of 9 in the end. And Devon didn't get as many opportunities as he's getting right here
100.
early in the match. We might look back at this series, Matt,
78.
thinking about what's changed. We've seen many different countries evolve here. But maybe one of the biggest stories of Series 10
85.
is that it got its first African winner. But it might not have been Devon. It could have been Peter Washuri.
60.
A little bit of frustration creeping in here for Devon Peterson. Aware that he's in a position here that he could really get some control.
58.
And we speak about this all the time, don't we? About when you break the throw. And if you give it straight back, it feels more disappointing than if it had just gone with the holds.
85.
Because you feel like you've done the hard work and give it straight back.
His third dart tonight has had an inordinate amount of discomfort about it.
140.
That back leg is hiking its way up. That right shoulder's coming too far forward. He's just got to stay still.
48. Shane 118. $52.
It's a bit scrappy, this one, all of a sudden. This is better.
108.
Doesn't get any better than that.
66.
It's exactly what Shane did not want to see or hear. However,
26.
oh, it's a
Devon
wire
8.
bender. Devon can't wait to throw. He's bent 2 wires.
Game shown the fourth leg.
That may be the
Devon
best
Peterson.
shot he's had all night. That is a wonderful shot at double 2.
Fifth leg Shane to throw first.
He's 3-1 up,
Game
and he
on.
looks like someone's just nicked his 20 note out of his pocket. Not that anybody carries cash anymore.
100.
Yeah, I was speaking about this the other day, actually, saying about how the world is losing certain experiences. And you know what it's like when someone's
100.
getting married and you get the suit out and you go, oh, there's 20 quid in the pocket. That experience is leaving the world now, isn't it? And I feel sad.
You're not going to find that
81.
mysterious fiver that went missing. Oh yeah, put it in my suede coat pocket.
41.
Imagine getting a card from your grandma and it's
60.
It's got tap here inside.
You know, when the note falls on the floor and you got to pretend not to see it
44.
and be like, oh, lovely card. Oh, there's a tenner there, thank you.
And that moment when you open the envelope and you think, is it just the card? I was expecting there to be a note in there as well. Fear not, everybody, because when
117.
somebody gets £25,000 on Saturday night, they don't have to look in the envelope because there is no envelope. They won't even get a novelty check,
80.
which Matthew Edgar's
Junior
seething
car,
about.
143.
Yeah, the presentation of someone getting out a card reader and passing it over doesn't quite have the same
43.
effect, does it? Here's my PayPal details.
89.
Shane has got
Junior
a chance
car,
of getting
100.
back into this match. He's got 2 holes and a break to find. It all has to start here.
40.
Well, it's better on the floor than in the 60, Shane.
Junior car, 147.
However, 51. Shane is using up a few
80.
bits of fortune
Junior car,
here.
60.
First the dart on the floor, then the miss from Peterson. He needs this.
40.
And it doesn't
Junior
find the
car,
mark.
67.
He's 50% on doubles. He only needs one more.
Game
And it's
shown
right in the
match,
corner.
Devin Peterson.
He was able to hit the doubles. Unfortunately, Shane couldn't. Just 1 from 11 in that match. The lesser average from the South African, but he's off the mark. And one of the favourites for the week, Shane Mcgherk, the WDF champion, loses to the ADC Global champion. And now we've only got one more match this half. It is Coulson against Davies.
Are you ready to lift that trophy, Darius? Yes. Let's do it then. Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series 9 champion is Lucky D, Darius Lewandowski!
Well, what a wonderful night of darts we have seen, and we are ready. Our champion is ready, and it's trophy. So receiving the trophy. £25,000. The new Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And one more time, the 8th Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And the new Modus Super Series champion is Andreas Dirty Harrison. And one more time, the 7th Modus Super Series champion. Give it up for Andreas Dirty Harrison.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Would you please show your appreciation for your Series 6 Modus Super Series champion,
Super Series champion. He is Chucky. He is Jim McGherk.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series champion, retaining his title, the Nuke, Luke Littler!
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, live and free on Pluto TV. And Derek Coulson is looking to force his way through to Champions Night after missing out, finishing second place in Group A. He's made a good start to his evening in Group B. His opponent, Davies, looking to bounce back from defeat in his first match earlier. It's DC against DD with Paul Nicholson and ME.
Well, that's me, and I'm PN. So there you go. And that is DC up against Double D. And we hope this is a Triple A match. It could well be. My word, it's like the cat in the hat here tonight, isn't it?
Game on.
I don't see a doctor, but it's sounding like Dr. Seuss. These two were both at the previous Champions Night. Ultimately won by Darius Labanauskas.
100.
David Davies lost in the semi-final to Tom Sykes by 4-0. Wasn't really his fault. He averaged nearly 96. Sykes 107.36. Coulson lost in the groups.
140.
But they're both looking to get to the top 3 in this group over the next couple of nights to make sure it is a swift return to the biggest occasion we have here in Portsmouth.
In just a couple of days' time,
140.
£25,000 will be awarded. Not only that now, the carrot dangled even more so, a continuation nowadays. Not just a series title,
100.
not just the £25,000, but also now an opportunity to play in the ADC Global Championship. An opportunity to win a further £60,000. That event coming up in December of this year.
140.
Only 31 more games. And then it will be Champions Night. We always say that the last one of the year
121.
could line up someone's career for the next 5 to 10 years. But the first one of the year, it could change your entire season, which could in turn change your life.
Knock-on effects all the time now, isn't it? And
70.
the opportunity is not just what you've got here, but what it leads to. That's what you want. You want pathways. You don't want to win something and that just be the end of it. And now you've got a pathway right the way from your local venue where you're playing an ADC Vault, right the way through to some serious life-changing prize money.
51.
The system David Davies knows very well, because that's how he first got his place here at the Super Series.
Getting shown the first leg, Derek Coulson.
Definitely feels like you can't leave Derek Coulson on double 16 anymore.
Second leg,
He's
David
finding it
first.
so easily. But the point I've got about both these individuals, who I highly admire, is that I don't see them
135.
going to Q school and being full-time pros. I think they are very happy at this level to play Super Series darts, seniors, ADC,
93.
because this supports their lives the way they are. They don't want to be full-time professionals. I could be wrong, but from what we've seen so far in 2025
140.
and the previous couple of years, this is what they want to do. And there is nothing wrong with that.
44.
John Paul once said, when asked about the BDO and the PDC, someone asked him, Can you see them coexisting? And he said, it doesn't matter.
Because
Even if they don't, there's more people who have a choice to play darts. And I could not concur more. Not everybody wants to be a full-time pro. Some people just have a very well-paid hobby.
46.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle, isn't it? Lifestyle some people don't want. I think some of that comes down to
Getting shown
the
the second leg,
finances as
David
well. When
Davies.
you look at the fact that there is no guarantees within the sport. Once you get your tour
Third
card,
leg
you've then
getting
got
to
to
first.
continue to win
Game on.
in that elite field if you want to be earning your salary. Puts a few people off that.
Well, these guys aren't even that far apart. Mark Drayton
91.
up to Denby. An hour? If my geography is correct.
Well, let's have a
100.
look.
I suppose it depends how you drive. I know some dart players who like to drive fairly swiftly. I suppose it depends what they drive as well.
100.
If they drive anything like me, it'll take maybe close to 2 hours. Oh, this is beautiful. Top left corner. Oh, yeah, what a 180 that is. It's like 3 Gareth Bale penalties.
65 miles difference. Denby to Market Drayton, so not too bad.
140.
Bit of country roads though, so an hour 27.
It's when you get onto that road in North Wales, isn't it? Even if you just go to Denbighshire or you go all the way to Anglesey, that road, it feels like it takes forever.
To be honest, I've drove around this area of Wales quite a bit,
170.
and the roads look like paths.
That's why it's so beautiful. It's not been spoiled by tarmac.
60. David Car 116.
Oh, this would spoil Derek's mood. Right in the middle. Double top, question mark.
96.
Just a little bit under again.
110.
The ever popular route of south on 110. Don't question
69.
the intelligence of
David
Coulson.
Car 20.
He might be old school, but he does a lot of new school things. That's a great dart from Davies.
David Davies.
I suspect that maybe when he was on
Fourth
10,
leg,
he
Davies
was
through first.
contemplating 2-4-4.
Game on.
But that has worked out really well. He got 2 legs off Spivey in game 3, but he was on the end of the performance of the evening so far from Seaside Sam.
95.
And this is what makes Davies very dangerous. He lost with a 94. You take the positives from that. He comes into this game, a very difficult fixture. And he's averaging 101.
80.
But so is his opponent.
$125.
They're not the quickest of players, but what they lack in pace, they make up in quality.
$100.
Derek was saying a little bit earlier in the week that he's throwing a few darts a little quicker this week because he's getting a little twitch in his middle finger. It's annoying him and he doesn't know what it is.
60.
So he's just trying to go with it to make sure it doesn't upset his feel, his rhythm, or anything like that. I think it has upset a few
95.
small moments this week, but on the whole, it seems to have behaved.
Just irritants, aren't they? Have you ever had the one with your eyelid flickers?
Hate that.
$140. David Car 126.
419s for the bull. That's the only route left.
101. David Car 81.
Davies is walking a tightrope here in leg 4. But he might be seeing the other end of the rope. If he can get 72. Another 36. Oh, that's fantastic.
Fourth leg, David Davies.
Who goes treble 12 on 72 anymore? Well, Davies does, and it works.
First. Game on.
I don't mind it with 2 darts. With 3, I think it's questionable. Because you don't want to block tops
100.
if you don't get the treble 12. But boy, oh boy, was that a good shot.
$81.
Davies' winning formula over the last year has been stick to the old school Mark Webster darts, stick in the white stems, and have some Geordie flights.
180.
He's gone to some current Ryan Joyce flights. I think they're still current, even though Ryan is using kite-shaped flights now.
Yeah, the sort of Tetris effect, isn't it?
134.
Ryan Joyce material.
Well, Tetris was strong enough as a video game to stop the Cold War. I wonder if those flights are good enough to stop Derek Coulson, who was pretty cool. Interesting
85.
piece of history that about
car 121.
the video game Tetris, how it changed history. That's for another day. 88 is for this day.
Game shot on the 5th leg, Derek
And he lives to
Coulson.
fight another day.
6th leg, David is through first. Game on.
That is a first ton plus check out of the night for Coulson. Could have had a couple in a row had he hit the bullseye in the previous leg.
100.
Look at this. This is the kind of game we're getting used to today. Having said that, if you cast your mind back to Group C this afternoon,
140.
there was a game between Jensen Walker and Reece Robinson, which is simply unforgettable. Walker won it with 104.31, 3 maximums,
54.
and a 146 checkout. Robinson lost it with 109 and 50% on doubles. It was a simply stunning game.
57.
Derek Coulson may know how that feels pretty soon if this game continues in the favour of David Davies. Hold a throw here and he's over the line with the points. And Coulson, who's running around about the 105 mark,
96.
would be joining Reece Robinson in those big losing averages.
Wouldn't be anything new for him. Everybody was targeting Derek on Wednesday. People were putting in their best performance of the week against him because they had
100.
to. It's as simple as this. About 18 months ago, people knew of Derek. Now everybody knows who he is.
180.
And more people are doing that against him than ever because they know they have to. That is a 5th maximum of this match. 6.
180. David Carr 71.
I wanted to go all Billy Bowden there and put my fingers in the air. Like I just don't care. 5-5 to win though.
66. David Carr 24.
That could be costly. Because this is on the Davies throw.
Game shot on the 6th leg, Derek
This game
Coulson.
continues. The only person who's disappointed about that is David Davies.
7th and final leg, Derek to throw first.
Because everybody else
Game on.
wants to see more of what we've seen in the last 6 legs. Scary to think this isn't even the best game of the day.
100.
I suppose on some level it could be.
$96.
Is there an argument to say this is a better game? Because there's been more maximums. Doubles are about the same.
100.
And now there's another one. That's 7.
Record in a match is 9. No surprise to know that involved Luke Littler back when he was here at the Super Series. Him and Chris
28.
Gilliland won't be able to. Oh, we could do actually still. Couldn't we still get to 9?
Could be another one.
140.
He is not going to get any more. I think from this point. Hang on.
125. Dedicated.
The only thing that David is going to be looking at right now could be the wounds he needs to lick. Because Coulson has withstood the brilliance of Davies,
49.
who did have 2 match darts from a 71 checkout. And earlier on we said, what? You can't leave Coulson on 32.
125. Dedicated 32.
This is right up there. It is wonderful. It's not the best performance of the week, but it's really close. It seems as if everybody knows how dangerous David Davies is, because that's the second time tonight that somebody's outgunned him with an average in excess of 100. And look at what Davies has done right there. Averaged exactly 100 himself with 33% on the doubles, but it wasn't good enough. Coulson puts in his best performance of the week right there for a 4-3 win to take us to half-time.
$54. Charlie McGuire, 164. $44. $32. Charlie required 120.
Well, 120. He's got a fair, at least 2 handfuls of this. Just needs to stay
60.
there. That's a good shot. Halves his score. Leaves himself on a 2-darter.
$26. Charlie
Time on his
required
side
60.
to become back-to-back singles champion.
$40.
Definitely a couple of nerves in those last 2 darts. But he'll be coming back.
It's a moment he's been in before this situation. Standing at the back of the stage,
Charlie
approaching the
required
Yoki with a
20.
chance to win the title.
He did this to win the first title, if you remember.
11.
I think he's gone.
Georgia
I think
require
he's gone to
118.
bust it, maybe. The first title he wanted 20. He went 6-7-7 to win it. He had a chance to replicate it again.
Yeah, I get the feeling that was for a bust, and
39.
on that situation there, George Scaife wasn't even
9.
able to take it out going to the 18s on that switch.
Yeah, I think he just panicked a bit, but he's done well to get that big one.
Sometimes can be the hardest part.
Georgia requires
This is it.
79.
It's got to be 19s. It's got to be 19s for this shot. Big 20 and a double. He's got the first one. He's going to get a match dart here.
$59. Charlie
Threw the entire
require
body into that
8.
one. Just didn't want to let go of the dart.
No score.
He's given George a chance.
George require 20.
I think George has been quite good on double 10 today.
So many opportunities for Charlie Murphy.
Couldn't
get the job done.
Got in the match! And the Red Dragon
George
Modus
Skate.
Super Series Influencers Champion, George Skate!
Been an interesting night and a very fruitful night so far for this man, Sam Spivey, here as Group B got underway earlier this evening. And Spivey, with that 4-2 success over David Davies, the Welshman, managed to secure himself a second win of the evening. He got the same margin of victory over Shane Mcgherk in the opening match. Derek Coulson then produced a 4-2 victory over Devon Peterson, who in turn beat Mcgherk 4-1, and then Coulson won an absolute thriller against David Davies, averaging more than 108. Davies had 100 average himself in that one, but has got nothing to show for it. No points for David Davies, nor Shane Mcgherk, who's lost 6 of his last 7 matches this week. Worrying signs for him and his fans. Devon Peterson in a provisional qualification spot on 2 points, and it is a perfect start to the night for Sam Spivey and Derek Coulson. Peterson could be joining the pair of them on 4 points if he gets a win in this one, and Champions Night is getting closer. There we go, just 30 games until that venue will be full. But who will be on the stage? Well, Paul Hinks, he will be. The referee, the legendary referee, will be overseeing proceedings on Champions Night. His first Champions Night, believe it or not, at the Modus Super Series. Will Devon Peterson be sharing the stage with him? Sam Spivey, he could actually take a step towards it. Now, let's not forget Rob Collins last week got to finals night on just 4 points. Spivey's already got that amount. Another couple of wins, and he is as good as there with Scott Campbell. Guiding you through the action, Paul Nicholson and Matthew Edgar.
Yes, 30 more games until Champions Night. I remember the good old days when it was 95 games to Champions Night. Those days were just brilliant. That was on Monday. Now it's Thursday, and Sam Spivey is undefeated.
First. Game on.
And anybody who thought just because we had a world champion and a global champion in this group and they were going to coast through to Saturday night, think again.
140.
The people to beat are Coulson and Spivey. But Peterson is off the mark. He took full advantage of missed doubles from Mcgherk. But if I may be frank, even though my name's Paul, Spivey's the favourite in this game.
100.
And I defy anybody who thinks different, because Spivey has been superb tonight.
There's a lot of ticks, isn't there? Ticks in terms of the performances, the results, and the fact that he's got the throw as well. Ticks a lot of boxes if you're going to be looking at Sam Spivey to pick up the win here. Not only that, but Devon Peterson was just starting to show a little bit of frustration in that last game at times, wasn't he? Despite the fact he got the result.
60.
And we've had no information from Spivey. He's been playing like he doesn't understand anything. He's just
81.
Like a secret agent up there, doing what he needs to do, and then when it's all over, he leaves, and then he comes back for the next game.
81. Samnikar 40.
He's like a sleeper cell. But he's not on the mark there.
120.
Peterson has won the first leg of every game he's played tonight. He could still win this leg, but he's going to need Sam to miss a couple more times.
88. Samnikar 5.
That one's out of the way now.
3. Devnukar 32.
That's about as much information as you get from him emotionally.
Getting shown the first
And again,
leg, Devin
Peterson swoops in for the kill.
Second leg, Devin to through
Punishing,
first.
isn't he, Devin Peterson, this evening? You miss against him, he will take it out.
Now, I know you're a big fan of Seaside Sam as a nickname.
140.
Why don't they call him Poison? Poison Spivey.
Okay, I'm going to put that right alongside Henry
100.
Deacon's Spivey, man.
All right, relegated. Noted. Let's move on.
There's so many plays he could have though on
41.
his name, isn't there?
People just call him Sam.
The
100.
fireman.
You do like a cartoon or two, don't you, Mr. Edgar?
85.
Guilty. Yeah, big fan of cartoons.
He's got a very accurate throw.
100.
It's all very conventional, but the thing that I love about the way that Spivey operates is that everything's the
65.
same every time. The rhythm is always the same. The mannerisms are the same. He'll retrieve the darts no matter what he hits. Hand goes in the pocket and he looks back.
65.
There it is. Right in the
Devin Carr,
pocket.
170.
Off we go. Let's see if he hits this.
I wonder if he's got something really valuable in his pocket. You know, like you're in an airport
105.
and you check your
Summercar,
passport's still there, like
136.
every 5 steps. I wonder if that's something similar there for Sam Spivey.
Is that your way of saying you think Spivey has brought his passport to the live
60.
lounge?
Well, look, there you go.
WK
Look, check his
65.
passport's still there. Yes, it is.
Well, Devon is looking to teleport to tops.
45. Samukar, 76.
He could be 2-0 up. But nothing has come easy for Devon tonight. This time Spivey's on tops.
36. WK, 20.
Bit of a flyer.
That's a marker.
10. Samukar, 40.
He will be so frustrated if he loses this leg, which is likely. He has lost
Game
the
shown
leg.
the second leg. Sam Spivey.
That's like somebody's put
Third
poison
leg, Sam to
Spivey in his
third
soup.
first. Game on.
I think what Devon's doing right there by pointing in his hand, he's just trying to re-earth himself into thinking, right, those 2 legs are
45.
done. Let's have a new match, best of 5. And if that's his mindset, that's a pretty healthy one.
See, I saw that slightly different. I saw him telling it off. He was saying, naughty hand.
43.
Throw the dart in the doubles.
It's a bit like Morticia Adams telling Thing off in the Adams Family.
81.
Wonder if Thing would be a really good dart player.
81.
Wouldn't have a very good mindset. Hasn't got a mind. Or an arm.
Sounds
100.
like doesn't quite have the physical attributes required to be a dart player.
$100.
We can but speculate. Now, Wednesday is a very good day to crown a Group A champion. That was
100.
Mr. Campbell, not Mr. Adams. But Mr. Adams from South Africa has been here a couple of times, of course, and he was a big hit. If Simon's watching this,
140.
we miss you, pal. You always have a great effect on this place when you're here. And Devon's doing a fab job for South Africa here this week.
65. Devin
So
Carr,
far.
137. 97.
Yeah, that's a good job.
Mcgherk 110.
Now, who's going to take this game by the scruff of the neck?
$70.
Maybe not
40.
Spivey. Two markers. Oh,
Not
he's
sure.
found the gap.
Mcgherk 40.
What did they say on the tube? Mind the gap. This train, does it stop at double 10?
Game shown
It
the
sure
third leg,
does.
Sam Spivey.
Watch out for the closing doors.
4 flag 7 to throw first. Game on.
Well, the doubles are causing a lot of trouble for the pair. That's Sam Spivey's second successful hit from 13 attempts.
100.
Devon Peterson will be very frustrated. Just the 1 from 9.
Yeah, 3 from 22 in this game.
Is that maybe a sense of
60.
the moment now? Because we're getting to that point where the table starts to shape.
Yeah, if I may be blunt, this game is starting to resemble one of Casper the Friendly Ghost's
60.
uncles, and it's not stretch. But there's time for this to kick into gear. But I think you're right, Matt. I think what we're getting are players
140.
who recognise that this group is not at its beginning now. It's at a very critical point
83.
where you've got to get something moving. There's so little time to work with in Group B. The games are limited, but the places available
91.
are maximised.
Well, if you think about it just in regards to one single game of darts, which is an important one, it tends to be you enjoy the start, then
100.
it gets into the meat of it, and then as you start getting into the point where the direction of the game is going to be shaped, that's the bit where the level just sort of dips off a bit before it peaks again at the end. It's like a wavy effect.
60. Mcgherk 158.
It feels like we're just coming into a bit of a lull where someone's going to need to grind out
84.
a couple of very
Mcgherk
important points.
150.
I think you're right. I think this group is now at the point of stage 2 of a lakeside. I'll explain that in the next leg. That's a lovely dart. And there's
130.
huge
Mcgherk
pressure
74.
on this 74. I don't see no pressure.
Like Devon Peterson.
I see a 74 checkout. That was
Alexander through
magic.
first. Game on.
Yeah, enjoyed that one, didn't you, Devon? Yes, someone said to me years ago when
140.
Glenn Durrant first won a lakeside in 2017. And I'd never been there before. And a lovely sound
43.
engineer by the name of Joe, who had been there many times, said, when you work there for 9 days, it has 3 stages. First 3 days, you revel in it. This tournament
58.
is amazing. The middle portion, you start getting a bit tired and you think, this is hard work now when you're doing all these double sessions. By the final stage of the last 3 days,
43.
you don't want to leave. You feel like you live there. She was absolutely right. The first couple of rounds in Group B, it's all exciting. You're trying to find your feet.
133.
A little bit of tiredness kicks in. In game 3 and 4, becomes a bit harder. Come tomorrow,
100.
they don't want
Mcgherk
to leave.
170. $60.
That's not disastrous. Well, Devon on 315 is doing this perfectly. Bull first on 315. Because 2 trebles after that leaves 170.
87. Mcgherk 110.
I suppose the bullseye first as well eliminates the temptation of going for the
86.
maximum. The first 2 darts go in, you go, ooh, that looks inviting.
Yeah, it's all about trying to leave a shot whereas your last start
140,
registers and
Summercar
leaves
24.
something hittable.
Game show on the
It's
fifth leg,
3-2
Sam
Spivey. He's winning games very different ways tonight.
Six leg
He can
Devon
average
is
over
first.
100.
Game on.
He can average about 90. And this one's about 80.
140.
It's like he's walked into a fancy restaurant and said, "What's on the specials menu? I'll have the winning 3 ways, please, with a side of mashed potatoes."
140.
Hold the mushrooms.
Sounds like I want one of them myself if you get 3 ways.
60.
Could be 4 ways. He's got to play Derek Coulson in game 9. It could be a flawless evening for the man from Scarborough.
96.
Always beware. The undefeated Thursday. And the difficult
140.
Friday. Otherwise known as the Scott Walters. But that was in Group C. If you win 4 games on a Thursday in Group B,
133. Devon Carwood,
you are 1 foot
161.
away from Champions Night. It's a great shot from Devon.
Sam McGherk, 132.
And he put enough pressure on Sam
99.
to
Devon
possibly
McGherk,
keep
24.
this match alive.
Game show on the sixth
Now
leg,
all of a
Devon
sudden they
Peterson.
can't stop missing doubles. Sorry, can't stop hitting doubles. Getting my words wrong. They're getting it
Sam
right,
the
and it's
final leg,
3-3.
Sam to through first. Game on.
You can barely separate them in the averages. Less than 1/10 of a point. And you said it earlier on, Matt. It might come down to the fact that Spivey having the
100.
darts could make him favourite.
Certainly in this situation. He's done the minimum requirement. He's got a treble with the opening throw. And Devon comes
37.
up dry. Big opportunity now. Just 1 treble will do some serious damage. Not that one, though.
54.
Could be classified as a bit of a derby match of sorts, this. Spivey from one part
45.
of Yorkshire, and Devon has spent most of the last decade in Yorkshire, but the other side of it.
$83.
He's got a nice lead here. Devon needs his top weapon to show up, and
43.
soon. Because it hasn't in the first 3 visits. And to the delight of Spivey, who's taken full
125.
advantage of it. If you offered Sam Spivey a 99 shot,
28. Sam McGherk, 139.
he would start singing Gimme, Gimme, Gimme by ABBA. I love it.
59.
Really good. Using the 19s on dart too. Showing darting intelligence.
It's just not happened here, has it, for Devon Peterson?
90.
He is
Sam McGherk, 80.
furious. Double top to win, to stay undefeated.
Game
And
show
that's
on
what
that, Sam
Spivey does.
Spivey.
Devon fought his heart out, but unfortunately there's only one person who was able to get a match start in that one, and it is now 3 out of 3 for Seaside Sam Spivey. Whether you like his nickname or not, it doesn't really matter because he keeps winning. 4 out of 16 on the doubles is good enough, and it just goes to show that Sam Spivey can win 3 different ways. It might even be 4 when he takes on Coulson later, but it's Coulson next against Mcgherk.
Welcome back to Pluto TV, the home of darts, the home, of course, of the Modus Super Series. And this week is special. It's Champions Week. Derek Coulson is through to his second consecutive Champions Week and might be through to his second successive Champions Night very soon. Shane Mcgherk stopped him getting there on Wednesday when he beat him for the second time this week with a fabulous performance, an average in three figures. In fact, he's done that twice to Derek Coulson when they've met this week. And Coulson keeps attracting opponents to average over 100. 6 times he's faced three-figure averages this week. He's won 2 and lost 4 of those games, including a couple against this man. So will we see some kind of repeat here, or can Coulson get his revenge for that pivotal contest that he lost yesterday? Let's find out. Back to our comms team, Paul Nicholson and Matthew Edgar.
Revenge is such a strong word, isn't it? Is it a little bit too early for revenge in Group B?
First, game on.
I suppose we're about to find out. Well, welcome to Friday, everybody. If you are indeed watching in the UK, if you're
100.
watching from a different territory, hello. Don't want to be time specific to everybody because we do have a lot of people watching from around the world, including Simon Adams, who has got in touch with us.
100.
Glad to know that you're watching, Simon. Hope life is treating you well. I wonder who he wants to win, Matt.
100.
I don't think I'd need too many guesses to get that one right. Is there a prize for getting it right?
If you get it right, I'll get you a packet of Henry
93.
Hitwells tomorrow.
Okay, I reckon he wants Derek Coulson to win.
60.
What was that sound effect from Family Fortunes? No Henry Hitwells for you. Well, the prize for the win here is 2 points, of course, which, quite frankly, Shane Mcgherk needs.
98.
The 2 wins against Derek Coulson this week are a distant memory. And the performances that he got from those fixtures
59.
are maybe something he can cling to now. But boy, does he need to click into gear. So far tonight, an average of 90 against Spivey, which was not good enough.
120.
And the scruffy 83 average against Peterson. 1 out of 11 on the doubles, though. That was what cost him. It's got to be better for the rest of the night.
100. Derek 90.
It doesn't get any easier. Coulson and Davies. Great first start. It's double 15.
75.
He's overpitched that one.
Shane Yukar 82.
Ooh, 42 tops.
Game show.
Why not?
Like Shane Mcgherk.
Open up your bag of tricks there, Shane. We don't mind.
Derek to throw first. Game on.
But we talk about wearing previous results. I think Shane Mcgherk was there. There was no sort of satisfaction there, was there? It was almost a shake of the head, a slow sort of saunter
60.
to the board, and he didn't seem too pleased. And not because he's doing something wrong here. That was a good leg of darts on Shane Mcgherk. A great finish. Nice and clean.
100.
Because he's already been on the stage a couple of times tonight, because he's already had a couple of defeats and the importance of this game, he didn't take too much satisfaction or joy in that hit.
140.
It's a great fixture between 2 very experienced players now, albeit at very different ages.
100.
But I look at the colour schemes of the shirts, and to be honest, it reminds me of an NFL game. It could be the Las Vegas Raiders
120.
against the Seattle Seahawks. That's what the strips are reminding me of. Derek would be a Raider, and Mcgherk would be a Seahawk.
131.
Even though Shane's from Ireland, so he's probably a Steeler. And Dublin are actually going to be hosting an NFL game later this year. at Croke Park. What an occasion that will be.
105. Shane McGherk, 170.
Time to go fishing, Shane. Yeah, fishy, fishy.
145. Derek Carr, 76.
Didn't bring enough bait. There's always next time. Well, maybe there isn't, actually. Coulson's got 76.
72. Shane McGherk, 25.
That's about as much disappointment as we've seen from Derek this week.
What was he just saying in the last game? This is the part of the
Game
Thursday's
shown the
action
second leg,
where
Shane McGherk.
everything just feels more amplified.
Third leg, Shane to through first.
You'll know
Game
that
on.
Shane McGherk's yet to pick up points, knows that points here for Shane McGherk puts him back into play.
100.
I always feel like Shane's surname would be said better in a Liverpudlian accent by someone like Jamie Carragher.
Okay, well, I know that you're quite good with accents. Have you got one to demonstrate? Is
60.
there?
Shane Mcgherk.
Okay, yeah, that works.
He's going all red.
180.
Like a Liverpool football strip. And look at that. Very, very apt.
121.
I would be flabbergasted if this bunch of players do not break the 180 record for a Champions Week, because they are flying in that statistic. I'd be amazed if we don't get 250.
60. Shane McGherk, 96.
Look at this for a performance.
Game shown the third
Mcgherk
leg.
is
Shane
back.
McGherk.
We've had an imposter on the hockey the first two games he's played tonight,
Fourth
but
leg, Derek is through first.
102.48
Game
for
on.
3 legs. And Mcgherk against Coulson is happening again. Why is Derek constantly running into people
125.
averaging in 3 figures? Because these people know they have to do it.
85.
And he's still got Sam Spivey yet to play, the undefeated man at the top of the table. That'll be the last game for Derek Coulson, so it could go from looking quite good and comfortable,
140.
4 points out of the first 4 points, to actually being in quite a bit of a battle.
40.
Looking to make a battle of this one, though. Looking good here with the throw.
Nobody said winning a series title was easy. He knows this. He's been to 2 Champions nights.
58.
People have given him every chance of being the champ, but he hasn't made the semis so far, because getting out of the group on the Saturday night is hard enough. Getting
96.
to the Saturday is hard enough. The last 2 times he's done it was via Group C in the Champions Week. So this is a new experience. But it will feel familiar because he got through Group B
134.
to get to his weekly finals night. But you haven't lived in this place until you've played in every group you
125,
can
Derek Carr,
possibly play in.
44.
And now Derek almost has.
$28.
There's only one thing he hasn't done,
155.
and that's make the final 4.
$87.
There's good use of the board there
Derek
from
Carr,
Shane.
16.
Surely Derek will take us further.
Game shown
Yes,
the
he
fourth
does.
leg,
Very
Derek
precise.
Coulson.
The one
leg,
leg
Shane
where
to third
Shane
first.
just takes his
Game
foot off the
on.
gas a little bit, and Coulson is there to kill. How many times have we seen this week people averaging about 92? And it's not good enough.
180.
If anything, losing leg 4 has woken Shane back up.
100.
More ticks in that maximum column as well. There's plenty of games left when you mention about ticking over the 250 potential.
60.
Coulson has a small matter of 5 maximums tonight, but he hasn't got one in this game.
60. 57.
Oh, he's disappointed not to leave a finish there, but look on the bright side, Mr. Mcgherk. You've got a rather healthy lead. For how long?
100.
I think there was an argument to switch there for Derek.
$98.
That is a brilliant last start. Look at the cheeks of Shane. Boy, did he adore that treble 19. It might make all the difference now.
60.
And he's now got 6 from here.
106.
He wants to get this finished. To get him off the bottom of the table. And on the ladder.
74.
We'll be back. Nothing Coulson can do here but hit and hope. Shane Mcgherk, a handful of darts to get his first points here on Champions Week.
90. Shane Mcgherk 32.
He gets it, and yet again, for the 3rd consecutive day, he beats Derek Coulson by 4 legs to 1. These guys don't know the meaning of a long game this week. That's as long as it gets. 1 4-leg game and 3 5-leg games, and yet again, Derek Coulson succumbs to the WDF World Champion. The doubles were better at 50%. So he wins by 4 legs to 1 ahead of Davies against Peterson.
Are you ready to lift that trophy, Darius? Yes. Let's do it then. Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series 9 champion is Lucky D! Darius Labanowski!
Well, what a wonderful night of darts we have seen, and we are ready. Our champion is ready, and it's trophy. So receive the trophy. £25,000. The new Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And one more time, the 8th Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And the new Modus Super Series champion is Andreas Dirty Harrison. And one more time, the 7th Modus Super Series champion. Give it up for Andreas Dirty Harrison.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Would you please show your appreciation for your Series 6 Modus Super Series champion, Scott Taylor.
One more time, your new Modus Super Series champion. He is Chucky. He is Jim McGherk.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series champion, retaining his title, the Nuke, Luke Littler!
Welcome back to the action here on Champions Week at the Modus Super Series, all live and free for your viewing pleasure on Pluto TV. And up next, we see Davies looking to get off the mark. He takes on Devon Peterson. Just 3 games to go tonight, including this one. And as Paul and Matthew have been saying in comms, it's starting to get to that point where players realise that they're going to quickly run out of time in this group. So imperative to pick up points this evening. Who will get them here? Let's find out. Back to the boys in comms.
Yes, indeed. Much like the famous song from
First
a
leg,
Charles
Devon to throw
Dickens
first.
adapted play
Come on.
from a book. You've got to pick up a point or two. It didn't go just like that. It was slightly adapted. But I think Davies has got to pick up 2 points now.
24.
Or against Mcgherk in the final match, because if he doesn't, he's going to be in real peril. And he hasn't played poorly tonight.
No, averages just shy
45.
95 and 100 for Davies. He's putting good performances, but like what we expect from this Group B, you're going to hit, but you're going to get hit back.
45.
What is it Mike Tyson said? Everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face.
99.
And quite frankly, Davies has been punched rather hard tonight. Spivey and Coulson have averaged
100.
over 100 against him. Now he's got to hit back. And he will.
177.
It's sort of the same situation we've just seen really with Shane Mcgherk, haven't we? He's sat looking for points, goes up against Derek Coulson, puts in a big performance.
60.
He's back in the mix.
Well, let's put it this way. What kind of pressure's on Devon Peterson in this game? And I think there's plenty. This is his last game of the night.
100.
If he doesn't win it, he walks away from tonight with a negative leg difference and only 2 points.
105. David Car 80.
He's got to make the most of this. Otherwise, he'll have to wait until game 3 to play tomorrow.
Game show on the first
Well,
leg,
Mr.
David
Davies. I didn't know you were that
Well,
way
McDavies is
inclined,
the
but
first.
okay.
Game
Now
on.
we're starting to see a bit of flair from Double D. I'm kind of liking it.
Well, Top's clearly a favourite of Davies. He was so immaculate on it last time he was here.
140.
And if something's not working, try something different.
Maybe that could be his nickname because he doesn't have one.
Different David.
131.
I was going for Mr. Immaculate. Well, he does always turn up immaculately, doesn't he? Never a hair out of place. He's not like Cox, though.
Oh, it could be
100.
Triple D. Different Davies. Time to play the game.
100.
He's definitely in the groove.
140.
I think Peterson has got to kick in the next couple of minutes. Davies in the background looks like
60.
someone
David Carr 121.
who was on the hunt. This is amazing. Tops again.
81.
Oh, this is it. This is what he needs.
125. David Carr 40.
But he might be too late.
Game show
It
the
is
second
right
leg,
in
David
there.
Davies.
And David is right on it.
Third leg, Devon to through first. Game on.
This is the kind of performance that was put in against him in the last Champions Night by Tom Sykes.
100.
Tom has been to 2 finals in series in the last 12 months, but he didn't win either final against Labanauskas or Scott Taylor.
82.
But he put in 2 monstrous displays in semi-finals. One of them against Davies.
129.
Speaking of monstrous, did you know that Devon Peterson's highest ever average was in a loss?
59.
Well, the highest average here for a very short period of time was in a loss, wasn't it? That of Darryl Pilgrim. The 118.88.
It was back in 2020 in a semi-final against Gedwin Price and Milton Keynes. But even today,
100.
Rhys Robinson was trying to scare that losing average record. At one point, he was averaging 119 and behind 2 legs to 1.
100.
Sort of a record you don't really want, isn't it, that one?
No, you don't want that one. You'd much rather be known as a series champion.
100. Devon Carr 112.
Yes. Yes.
80.
Almost yes.
David Carr 160.
Now this does include tops, if you can get there.
We almost had the triple yes against triple D.
60. Devon Carr 32.
I was going full on Daniel Bryan there, wasn't I? Without the hands in the air. Oh, that's a
Game
lovely
shot the
dart
third
from
leg,
Devon.
Devon
He knows his
Peterson.
angles. He knows if he goes right on that miss,
Fourth leg, David in through first.
the flight is in play. If he goes left,
on.
it isn't. Would you like to hazard a guess? Everybody who's watching this live on Pluto TV, how many points
100.
do you think someone has amassed as the most in a Group B in Champions Week? The maximum you can get is
44.
16, but what has someone attained before? I'll give you a clue. Nobody
60.
has ever gone through a Champions Week Group B undefeated. And the only person who can do that this time is Sam Spivey.
60.
He's coming up next, and he's going to have his hands full, isn't he? Going up against the thrower against fellow left-hander Derek Coulson.
180.
I think Devon has got his hands full here. This is the good version of David Davies. Not that we've seen the bad version tonight.
41. David Carr 161.
Doesn't have to go for this. But I remember
137.
when he won his first weekly title, he took out a massive finish and then he showed us where the camera lens was. He did his best impression of Johnny Clayton. What a finish that was. I think it was a 170 off the top of my head.
24.
Who needs a 170 when you can get a 13 darter just like that? Wonderful darts from Davies.
Fifth leg, Devon to through first. Game on.
Yeah, 14 points is the most that anybody's ever attained in Group B in Champions Week.
55.
And it has happened twice in consecutive series. Number 4 and number 5 by Messrs. Littler and Pilgrim.
100.
But the biggest leg difference, it is, of course, the world champion, Littler, at plus 18, beating Pilgrim by a
85.
leg in Series 4. That is the best that anybody's ever done. But the encouraging thing is
44.
that on 4 occasions, a group like this has been won on 10 points.
140.
It's been done by John Worsley, Alexander Merktz, Steve West, and a certain Darius Labanauskas.
96.
The reigning champion, but not the defending champion.
Correct. The mantle of defending
60.
champion will go to someone else in less than 48 hours' time. But Group B, it is the most fruitful place in
60.
Champions Week to see a future champion. It's happened 6 times. 2/3 of the time, our
90.
champion comes from this group. I would not be shocked if it happens again. That's a lovely approach.
Democrat 71.
They've now got the same. One dart at tops.
Game show
Beautifully
Kevin
crafted.
Peterson.
Boy, was that a fortunate treble 6 though, Matt.
6-leg Davies through
It
first.
meant he could go
Game on.
single to outer ring instead of single to bull.
Much bigger target, isn't it, as well? Much bigger surface
46.
space. Can certainly get a couple of bullseyes in the space of a double.
Somewhat apt
100.
as well that Devon takes out 71 when Davies is on 71, and it was a 71 checkout that cost Davies against Coulson. He missed 2 darts to win that match
58.
and ended up losing 4-3 to Coulson. So that number might keep cropping up.
100.
The last thing the Welshman needs is somebody else on the comeback trail, which places extra pressure on the fact that he's got the darts in this leg because he can't have them in the next if we go that far. But what a response.
174.
That used to be known as a Dundas.
100.
A hat tip to MC and referee Anthony Dundas of Scotland, who loves a 174.
134.
And right now, David Davies, if he asked that treble 19 to marry him, I think it would say yes. He's hit it 4 times in a row.
41. David Ducat 89.
If he gets it again here, he's going to get 2 match darts.
5.
Game shot of the match.
Absolutely
David
incredible. He has been hit very, very hard tonight. But look at the way he's responded against the ADC Global Champion. 5 treble 19s in a row in the last leg. A 174, another approach shot, then a single treble 19 to get a shot at double 16 for the match, which he takes. He wins by 4 legs to 2, and Devon Peterson's night is over. He has to settle for only 2 points tonight.
54. Charlie Maguire, 164. 44. 32. Charlie required 120.
Well, 120. He's got a fair, at least 2 handfuls at this. Just needs to stay
60.
there. That's a good shot. Halves his score. Leaves himself on a 2-darter.
$26. Charlie
Time on his
required
side
60.
to become back-to-back singles champion.
$40.
Definitely a couple of nerves in those last 2 darts. But he'll be coming back.
It's a moment he's been in before this situation. Standing at the back of the
81.
stage,
Charlie
approaching the
required
hockey with a
20.
chance to win the title.
He did this to win the first title, if you remember.
11.
I think he's gone.
Georgia
I think
require
he's gone to
118.
bust it, maybe. The first title he wanted 20. He went 6-7-7 to win it. He had a chance to replicate it again.
Yeah, I get the feeling that was for a bust, and
39.
on that
Charlie
situation there, George
require
Scaife wasn't even
9.
able to take it out going to the 18s on that switch.
Yeah, I think he just panicked a bit, but he's done well to get that big one.
Sometimes can be the hardest part.
Georgia requires
This is it.
79.
It's got to be 19s. It's got to be 19s for this shot. Big 20 and a double. He's got the first one. He's going to get a match dart here.
$59. Charlie
Threw the entire
require
body into that
8.
one. Just didn't want to let go of the dart.
No score.
He's given George a chance.
Georgia require 20.
I think George has been quite good on double 10 today.
So many opportunities for Charlie Murphy.
Get
Couldn't get the
it.
job
Got
done.
in the match! And the Red Dragon
George
Modus
Scaife.
Super Series Influencers Champion, George Scaife!
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series live on Pluto TV. It's Champions Week. Scott Campbell already there as the winner of Group A, and Sam Spivey is now just 2 wins away from qualification in this group. In fact, his opponent in each of those 2 games will be Derek Coulson. And he's trying to stop Spivey doing on his first night of Champions Week what Coulson himself did on his first day of Champions Week, and that is win every single match in the session. Can the Scarborough Slinger do it here? Let's find out in the company of Matthew Edgar and Paul Nicholson.
Ooh, Murph, you might be onto something there. I don't know if it's a cocktail or not, but sign me up for a Scarborough Slinger. Might come with a side of chips. If he was known as the Scarborough Slinger, would that make him the understudy to the Singapore Slinger? That is
First
Paul
leg,
Lynn.
Eric to throw first. Game on.
Someone who we are yet to entice to Portsmouth. Well, if he was ever here, Matt Edgar, I think we'd have a queue round the block.
So 2 of something is a double. 3 is a treble. 4 is a
100.
quad. What's a 5?
Quintet?
So we've got Quintet S. Scarborough Singer. Seaside. Sam
One of
Spivey.
them, 40.
Doesn't quite reel off the tongue though, does it?
Maybe not. We are searching in the dark a little bit, but that's what we do with Darts After Dark.
57.
Having said that, if the Modus Super Series was coming to you live from Reykjavik, or maybe northern Norway, it would be darts never after dark.
81.
You've been to Iceland. In fact, it was on Thursday, the anniversary of your Iceland win, Matt Edgar.
Oh, yes, nice country.
119.
Very nice. Enjoyed it over there. Lovely place.
Yeah, not very dark late at night in April, though, is it?
Not overly, no. Which means you don't really get to see the northern lights
30.
that time of year.
This is not the time, if you're Sam, to slow down.
57.
This is where you say to yourself, whatever I've got left for the night, stick it into this game and try and get those 8 points.
But slow down might be the thing that could knock Sam out of
100.
his stride a little bit here. He's playing someone who's a lot more deliberate in Derek Coulson. And it's not that Sam's rapid, he's quite deliberate himself, but with that, it's quite a weight. He's at the back of the stage, he's sticking around before Derek Coulson's even got the first
44.
dart thrown.
Samuel Carr, 150.
Yeah, I'll have another one of those, if you please. And one of these, if you please.
132. Derek Carr, 124.
My word, he's a tough nut to crack. $54 for Bull. And the Bull.
99.
Not for the
Samuel
first time
Carr,
tonight,
18.
right on line. But on the green. Not in the red. This is where you want the green. And the
Game
green he
show on the first leg,
gets.
Sam Spivey.
There may be a few people
Second leg, Spam to throw
in
first.
Scarborough right now
Game on.
thinking, come on, Sam. We want you to be there on Saturday night. But if he's got people up there wanting to come and watch him, I'm afraid you can't unless you've already got a ticket, because
100.
Champions Night is the hardest ticket to get in Portsmouth, even though you don't have to queue up for them in Portsmouth. You can get them online at dartshop.tv. You can get tickets for other
60.
coming weeks for Saturday nights, like next week's Women's Week, or the International Pairs the week after that, or indeed the start of Series 11 after that. But as for this Saturday night,
134.
we apologise, but those tickets sold out really fast. So if the Scarborough Massive haven't got their tickets already, they're going to be very disappointed, and do not make the
96.
trip if you don't have a ticket.
I'm sure they'll certainly have it on the
140.
TVs and in the local bars.
Yeah, stick that Pluto app on. Watch a bit of live darts. I know that some of the
180. Sam Carr,
people
127.
associated with these players are watching very close by and hoping for a 127, and he's going to lay up, isn't he? He's going to spoil it. Boo.
87.
It's the right thing to do, but we couldn't tempt him.
$57. Samuel Carr, 40.
Paul Hinks is very disappointed in Sam. But Sam is not disappointed if he hits double 10.
Game show on the second leg, Sam Spivey.
Everything is going his way. Looks like he's going to be the person to beat.
First. Game on.
I
96.
feel if he reaches 8 points, the rest of the group will probably just assume that Sam's going to be going through and there's only going to be 2 places left to play for.
60.
Yeah, I can definitely see, and this is based on Spivey getting the points in this game, which by no means is guaranteed. but I can see him getting at least one win
121.
come Friday night, because I think there'll be a lot more pressure on other players.
Well, if he does get this win here, the final game is Shane Mcgherk, Davies. They're both on 2 points
57.
apiece. Sam Spivey would be 6 points clear in a qualification place with only 8 points left to play for.
Yeah, good point. Great point, in fact.
58.
Which in turn puts more pressure on Devin Peterson and the loser of the last match.
134.
We have seen this week, and Chris Murphy touched on it at the top of this game, that winning all of your games on day one is no guarantee of success, but this group dynamic is very different to Group A. Look at Derek. He's in his
97.
mid-50s. He's worked so hard this week, but this is his 19th game of the week. This is going to be the longest week he's ever had at the Modus Super Series.
60. WK
He's going to have to dig deep.
129. $93.
Lovely last start. Off the top of my head, I haven't seen him on double 18 much this week.
60. WK 36.
I'm desperate to know what's in Sam's pocket, by the way. You've got me curious now, Matt.
Game
It's a lovely double nine.
Coulson.
1 down,
4
3 to
Sam
go.
through first. Game on.
And his mission is to keep Sam away from the finishing line.
It could even be nothing in the pocket. Sometimes you just get these habits, don't you, where you just feel like you need to do
100.
something.
But let's say there is something in there. What could it be?
Could be some form of grip wax or a towel as such.
140.
That's a bit boring. Why couldn't it be another population of something in there? He's actually a bit like that movie Men in Black when he opens the locker. All hail J. All hail J. He's got a population in his pocket. All hail S. Possibilities are endless.
Might just be counting his money.
60.
Who was he? Rod Tidwell? It was Jerry Maguire that was showing him the money.
Gives him something to do in between shots. He gets up there, throws the darts. This is going well. And then
100.
I'll have a look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That would be a really cool process, just to keep the mind active. How many coins? You know, remember umpires in cricket? They have an amount of something in their pocket to count the amount of balls that have been delivered.
91.
They pass them from hand to hand,
Sam
don't they?
Car 161.
So they can count how many balls they've been delivered, and they don't pass it over if there's a no ball.
A genuine one here.
137.
So sometimes if I got like a bit nervy or a bit edgy in certain situations when I was younger, I used to put my hand in my pocket. I used to feel the coin to try and guess which side was heads and tails based on feel. To
58.
distract yourself
Sam
from the
Car
situation.
24.
That's really strong. Just like this performance. That is an excellent
Game shot on the
dart.
fourth leg, Sam Spivey.
One more leg, and your night will be complete.
Fifth leg, Derek to throw first. Game on.
It's all about keeping the mind activated and switched on, because easily in a sport like this where you're playing game in,
86.
game out, your mind can go to sleep, especially when it's late.
$140.
Never found out what was in the right pocket of Phil Taylor. The popular opinion was nothing.
A big wad of
140.
cash. I've got to think about cash tonight, haven't I, actually?
Is this where you're going to push for 25 bags
100.
of sand in a locked case on the stage in front of the finalists. A bit like the World Series of Poker when they put about $8.5 million on the table.
59.
I think for security purposes, that's probably not the best thing to do.
No, there's easier ways these days, isn't there?
60.
I think Derek is maybe starting to lose a little bit of his cool in this game. Getting a little bit frustrated. And we can completely understand.
119.
He's a hard-working human being who's been like cheese through a grater this week.
43. Derek Carr, 97.
What a dart that is. That
Game
is a
show
brilliant
fifth leg,
finish.
Derek Coulson.
Keeps Spivey at arm's length. He must continue to do
6
that here.
through first. Game on.
Just imagine if Derek can get out of jail here. He would finish on 6 points with Spivey. And then all of a sudden, Davies, Peterson and Mcgherk would take note. And they would much rather
60.
that was the case than somebody getting to 8 points. Or do they? Because there's an argument that Spivey running away with the group is better for the chasing pack.
Yeah, absolutely. Let him beat everybody else. You try and get the win against
100.
him, and you've got a couple of points handicap then on the chasing pack. Although Derek Coulson here is saying, don't write me off just yet.
140.
There's 5 big power trebles in the opening 6 here for Coulson, and this, most notably, is on the Sam Spivey throw.
43.
Now, this is the busiest of any day in Champions Week, and in most weeks, in fact, because as we go into the early hours of Friday, we're going to have
130.
the thick end of 23, 22 more games after tonight. This is just the build-up.
140. Derek Carr, 51.
Friday night we'll see everybody finalise their places. Double 16 needed.
Game show on the
And for the
sixth leg,
second leg in a
Derek
row,
Coulson.
Derek Coulson performs a stiff arm and
Seventh
says,
final leg, Derek to
"Stay
first.
away, Sam. This is my game." Well, the last 2 legs have been his. Is Coulson finding a sprint to the finish?
100.
The one thing he can't do is take Sam off the top, even with a win, because Sam's got a better leg difference.
140.
There's very little in the leg difference from top to bottom in this table, though.
180.
Oh, boy. He's got all 3 maximums in this game, has Derek. He's a sneaky maximum hitter.
100.
He had 1 in his first game. He had 4 in his next game after that. He didn't get any against Mcgherk. He didn't get a chance to get much against Shane.
140.
But that could have been another 4 in this match.
Digging deep here, Coulson, looking for a big, big turnaround, but this is a big hit from Sam Spivey.
140.
Got himself in range
Derek
after
Carr,
9
81.
darts here. Should Coulson provide the opportunity?
Oh, yeah. Double 12. That is
Game show on the
incredible.
match, Derek Coulson.
Derek Coulson, you go to bed, my good man. You've just dug deep and you've done something amazing. That is an insane performance from DC, because he was 3-1 down He's averaged 99.65, but the most impressive thing is he did not allow Sam Spivey one darted double in the last 3 legs. He kept him at bay, no matter how well Sam played. Derek Coulson and Sam Spivey have 6 points overnight.
Well, last match of the night, the opening night of Group B on Champions Week, and Matthew Edgar at the start of the show said that nobody would be through, nobody would be out of it, and that has been proven right, particularly after that win for Derek Coulson over Sam Spivey. They're stopping Spivey going through the card. He remains 2 wins away from Champions Night. Coulson joins him on 6 points as well, and what looked like being a disappointing night for this starting duo could turn into a decent one for one of them. Whoever wins this one will find themselves in a provisional qualification spot. So to see which one it is for one last time, I'll hand you back to Matt and Paul.
Many thanks. It just goes to show that Matthew Edgar knows his onions.
First, game on.
Made his way all the way back to Portsmouth from sunny Las Vegas, Nevada, and he's right again. But one thing's for sure. David Davies got it right in his previous game, didn't he, against Peterson? And now he can leapfrog Peterson and Mcgherk into that provisional spot in number 3. He can't get any further than 3rd overnight. But you were right, Matt. Nobody's in, nobody's out.
All to play for, and I think we're going to have
100.
this sort of situation all the way down to the wire. I think this Group B, we're going to be talking about the very last games tomorrow, where we're going to be saying all the different permutations and possibilities of
131.
who's going to be the top three.
Seeing as you're on the hotspot right now and you've just got it right, I know this game isn't
128.
over yet, it's just starting. Give me 3 names.
I mean, first of all, I feel I missed out when you said hotspot and I didn't go woo woo woo.
140.
Well, someone's going to be top, someone's going to be middle, and someone's going to be bottom. Give me the 3 names in the next leg, because Davies is trying to take this first leg. I think he was doing the Michael van Gerwen 1-3-4 there. The old 2 treble 20s and double 7.
84. Shenyuka 90.
Safe 20 for Bull.
65. David Ducar 50.
Of course it's tops.
Game show on the first leg, David Davies.
Predictable brilliance from David Davies.
Second leg, Shane
3
Reserve
names.
first. Game on.
I don't think you can ignore Sam Spivey and Derek Coulson's table advantage. They're going to have a 4-point buffer on the qualification spots,
85.
which means with 8 to play, they can afford to lose half the games and still be in a good position. So I think you've got to put those in, especially as they've got to play each other tomorrow. One of them looks pretty safe.
140.
The winner of this match will also go through.
At this stage,
140.
I would have to go with Davies, because he's been a lot more dependable tonight. You think about his top average, which is exactly 100.
95.
His lowest average, 94.88. His range is just over 5 points. As for Shane,
40.
highest average of 97.48, but his low, 83.76, so it's a bit wider. I may be skewed by the fact that Davies is 1-0 up, but
134.
David Davies has really impressed me tonight.
$140. David Ducar 132.
1 double or 2? Does he even go double-double? Does he need to? He could have started with a double bull, of course. That's what some people call it around the world.
64. Shane Ducar
We just call it bull.
I've also heard it called Red Bull as well.
Gives you legs, not wings. Double 9.
78. David Ducar 68.
Oh, that stings a bit. Now, it could be bull again.
$43. Shane
I
Ducar
think he's
18.
disappointed in himself, the fact that he had to go for the bull at the end.
Game show on the second leg.
Opened the
Shane
door to
Mcgherk.
Mcgherk, who walks right through it.
Third leg, David to throw first. Game on.
One of the biggest indications of how tight this group is that Sam Spivey at the top is on +4 leg difference. Shane Mcgherk and Devin Peterson, as it stands, are
100.
-2. 6 legs separate this group. And that can be bridged in one match.
100.
Interesting what was said this afternoon by Jensen Walker. He was talking about the practice room being very quiet.
140.
Why do I get the feeling it will be the same here tonight? Because they all know that 3 people will go to the Champions Night and 2 people will not.
60.
You do not want to be in that second group. Especially when you've been there before. And you know how much fun it is.
83.
Shane has never been there. Sam Spivey's never been there. Devin Peterson hasn't been to a Champions Night, but he has been to a Global Championship Day. But I think they're two very different things.
$58. Shane Car
It does give you that
161.
winning feeling, certainly on that stage. The environment, the memories.
Memories here. Like the corner of our mind. Like scattered pictures.
89. David Car 120.
Like shiny trophies. Shiny new trophies. As we look to climb the ladder on tops.
80. Shane Car
Oh,
72.
the pain on his face. He's trying not to show it to Shane. Tops for Mcgherk. And he
Game shot on the
finds
third leg,
what
Shane
Davies
Mcgherk.
couldn't.
Fourth leg Shane through first.
I'm trying to read Davies right there. He's doing his very, very best to keep his emotions inward, but tonight has been really tough. Again, he's averaging high 90s, and he's in a ding-dong. This might be one of the best daily campaigns, numbers-wise, that Davies has ever had.
40.
And he might walk away with a win percentage of 25%.
$57.
It's just the quality you get in a Group B campaign. A Group B campaign is normally a tricky one to navigate anyway. Certainly on the Champions Week. Condensed quality.
134.
Yeah, 3 averages of 100 or more. Predominantly, people have been averaging over 90. There aren't many averages under 90
60.
tonight.
$43.
This is where Davies needs that treble 19 to show up again, like it did at the end of his game with Peterson. It didn't just there. And Shane makes him pay for it.
80.
Max number 2 of the game.
$99. Shane Car
He's got
146.
6 starts from here. Has the champ, as he would love to be known here and around the world.
89.
And he gets a very valiant bullseye at the end there. That could change his next shot. And just like Coulson, Mcgherk may be feeling the rigours
135.
of his 19th game of the week.
57.
But he, like Coulson, might win his 19th game.
Game shot on the fourth leg.
He's nearly
Shane
there.
Mcgherk.
This is right up there
Fifth leg David through first. Game on.
with one of his best composed performances of the week. It's not his highest by any stretch because he has averaged 107 against Coulson a couple of days ago.
140.
But he has measured this one very, very well.
99. $96.
We have to say it. In the previous game, Sam Spivey was 3-1 up.
134.
And to give you some sort of indication as to what happened there, if you're just joining us at this late hour in the last match of Double Dose of Thursday, Derek Coulson left Spivey on 158 in consecutive legs. And in the last leg, which was a really great battle, Spivey was left on 121. He got nowhere near a finish in the last 3 legs. That is something that David Davies cannot stop.
100. Showing your car 88.
Just working out if he needs the bullseye. He might.
63.
He doesn't get it though.
David
This is
Car
where the
108.
rescue act has got to start, David.
The turnaround we just seen was a turnaround forced by quality. This would be quality.
It was right on track.
90. Showing your car 25.
Somebody's not happy.
Nine. David Ducar 18.
Cheer yourself up, David. Let's see if he can find 8s. He does, but only just. Wow, that one clung on. When that left his hand, Matt,
Game on.
he's probably thinking in slow motion, please go in. Don't go in the 16s. We've all been there.
134.
It comes out a little bit low and you think, just get there. It's like trying to send a 9-iron over the lake and you think, just hit the front edge. And it did.
58.
Damage done early though here, Shane Mcgherk. Only 3 darts in, but he's already got himself a nice advantage.
100.
Big treble there though, just to keep hold of it. Forces David Davies into having to find a maximum now in this leg.
Yeah, Davies has been outscored
96.
just about in this game. The power packs are very similar. But it has felt as if Mcgherk over the last couple of legs has been just a dart ahead.
81.
Last dart in hand again there for Shane Mcgherk though. Again, that's where you stood behind, and always hurts more when it's dart 3, doesn't it? It's when you think you're giving an opportunity. 59. Well, now the only opportunity David Davies is going to get is if Shane Mcgherk makes mistakes. And of that, I mean multiple.
100.
That looked like a tired last dart. He really does need a max. Oh, he gets it as well. He's left 108 again.
86.
Great shot. It's double 16. This time he does find the bottom left corner. And Shane Mcgherk wins by 4 legs to 2. Group B is done for the night. Shane Mcgherk is going to finish in 3rd position. He doesn't look like a happy bunny. I'm not really sure what he's disappointed about. That was a very good performance. Took him a couple of legs to get across the line. But David Davies, after everything he's been through tonight, miraculously is going to finish last. But like everybody else, he's not through, but he's not out.
Are you ready to lift that trophy, Darius? Yes. Let's do it then. Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series 9 champion is Lucky D, Darius Labanowski!
Well, what a wonderful night of darts we have seen, and we are ready. Our champion is ready, and it's trophy. So receiving the trophy. £25,000. The new Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And one more time, the 8th Modus Super Series champion, the Terminator, Marvin Van Velzen. And the new Modus Super Series champion is Andreas Dirty Harrison. And one more time, the 7th Modus Super Series champion. Give it up for Andreas Dirty Harrison.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Would you please show your appreciation for your Series 6 Modus Super Series champion, Scott Taylor.
Time, your new Modus Super Series champion. He is Chucky. He is Jim McGherk.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Modus Super Series champion, retaining his title, the Nuke, Luke Littler.
So here's what happened on the opening night of Group B on this Champions Week. Sam Spivey got off to a stunning start, a 4-2 win against Shane Mcgherk, which he followed up with the same type of victory against Davies and made it 3 from 3. But he was stopped by Derek Coulson in his final match, a 4-3 win for Derek in that one to get the same record as Sam. So they are tied at the top of the table, 6 points apiece. Shane Mcgherk in third, the final provisional spot, but it's all to play for tomorrow. Devon Peterson and David Davies with 1 win apiece. That means that pretty much everybody is in it and nobody's out of it, but one player who's certainly in it has joined us for a chat, Derek Coulson, not for the first time this week. Derek, how do you feel it went tonight for you?
It was tough. It was really, really hard. First game wasn't too bad. I don't think Devon was on it, but I got away with that one. And after that, it was really hard work. But just got a little bit annoyed with myself, and then they started to go when I got annoyed, which I might try and do the same tomorrow.
Paul, that the big game was the one at the end. Sam Spivey's pretty much got a foot in finals night if he wins that. Derek stopped him and really leaves this group wide open, doesn't he, tomorrow?
Yeah, there were a lot of impressive darts tonight, and I'm not just saying this because Derek's in the same room, but I think when we debrief in the morning and we think about what we've seen tonight, the thing that's going to stick with me is that at 3-1 down, Derek did not allow Sam anywhere near a finish. And that is what you have to do in Champions Weeks like this. He was left on 158 twice in consecutive legs and 121 in a brilliant last leg. Derek finished off the job without allowing a dangerous opponent a shot. And that is a classy thing to do.
What was your mindset going into that particular match? Did you sense it was really important?
Very important. Yeah, very important. And I knew Sam was on 6 points. I thought if I can get to 6 as well, that both of us head the group, puts the pressure on the others. But when I went 3-1 down, I was like, and my first dart was nowhere, absolutely nowhere. And that's when I was getting frustrated. Normally I'm calm when I'm playing, but I did get a bit angry. And then it just clicked. I played great after that.
Stunning stuff in the game against Davies earlier tonight as well. 108 average, brilliant performance. Are you starting to show what you really can do now? We've spoken in the past about being a consistent player, but you're showing some really high levels this week.
Yeah, and again, I was down in that game. Maybe in the past I'd have just folded and that game's gone. But I know what I can do on a dartboard. I was like, I just need to pull it out. And again, it just sort of came out when the chips were down. They started going. It was great.
Paul, 97.5 for the night. I mean, that stands up in any standard, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think if you look back at Series 3 and 4 when Luke Littler was doing this, we were saying, wow, this is just another level. But the thing is, and the biggest compliment we can pay Derek right now, is that him doing this is not a shock. It's been happening all week. And I haven't seen the averages for the other players, but he's been top of the averages and the percentages on doubles every day he's played this week. And that just goes to show that his game is in such a great place. And
it looks like you haven't let not getting through yesterday affect you. How long did it take to get over that?
I was frustrated, but then when I sat back in the hotel, I thought, Scott deserved it. Scott played fantastic on yesterday, and I thought, well, I don't think there was a lot I could have done about it. So just being pragmatic, I thought, right, okay, it's a reset tomorrow. If I carry on playing the way I'm playing, I've got a good chance to get to the Saturday, and that's the way I treated it.
It was just a case of they beat you, and you didn't lose anything. I've been trying to enforce this point all day long because Shane and Scott produced their best darts against you when they really needed to, and you didn't play poorly.
No, I think in the last game I didn't quite push Shane, which was a bit disappointing. That's probably why I was most disappointed. I didn't really push it. But yeah, they both played great, and that's what I took out of it. You know, if I'd lost to a 78 average, I'd been fuming. But when they've played so well, you just got to shake their hand and say, well done, and move on.
Paul, let's have a quick word on Sam Spivey, because he started his campaign tonight, and didn't he start it well?
Typical of Sam. This is just what he does. You think he's maybe a one-week winning machine. No, he's more than that. We know he is. The symptoms are there for a very, very good player. And he's unflappable. We're going to have to test him to see if he's AI, because this guy, when he plays darts, he looks like he hasn't got a pulse. It's incredible what he can do, and we haven't seen the best of him yet. There were little smoulderings of it, but this was a very, very good first day for Sam.
Derek, cover your ears, because I'm going to say to Paul that Derek and Sam have done most of the work tonight. But from those other three, who did you see the most promising signs for to make it through to Saturday?
Weirdly, David Davies. His averages were really great, and he's last. So what we've heard from Derek is that if you get a little bit annoyed, it can give you that impetus to kick on. And when Davies comes up against Shane Mcgherk in Game 1 of Friday night, you expect a performance. I expect a lot from David. He will want to be in that second consecutive Champions Night, just like Derek. And yeah, I was impressed with David tonight. It just seemed that everybody played well against him here this evening.
I won't ask you about this group because you're part of it, but I know you were watching this afternoon, keeping a keen eye on what happened there. And you said before we went on air with this chat, how well Jensen Walker played.
Yeah, he was superb today. Absolutely superb. His head dropped a little bit during the week, but we kept saying, you're here for a reason. You know, you've won a week. And he played some great stuff in pieces during the week, but today, wow, did he come out and play some darts. He was phenomenal. I so much respect for him. He's a great player.
That game with Robinson, I want to watch that again. It was amazing. We had to sit there and commentate on it. We were living the game. I can't imagine what it was like being involved in a game of that quality. And Rhys Robinson averaging 109 and losing. He might not play that well and lose ever again. It was that good.
You've already had a few matches with Mervyn King, high profile on TV. Are you expecting to see him on Saturday as well?
I am. I think he's such a tough competitor. And just being in the same room as him, you realise just what he's about. And I think every game for those guys tomorrow will be really hard against him. He's up for it, and I genuinely believe he'll be there Saturday.
It's getting close, isn't it? Does it feel different on a Champions Week?
Very much so. Yeah, it's brutal. There's no easy games out there. You can't walk up there and think, oh, I'll just relax and take this as it comes. No, you've got to be on it. If you're not on it, you lose. Simple as that.
He's getting used to Champions Week. Even when he doesn't qualify, he gets the Champions Week.
Yeah.
But that has happened. He just knows how to get there. I expect him to be there again. We said that yesterday after Group A finished. He's had a great week, and I think Mervyn will be there too.
Well, carry on. Who else is going to be filling up that Saturday night lineup?
Are we talking about B or C here?
Well, you've said Mervyn. Do you think Jensen Walker's going to make it?
I don't know at this stage. I think Mervyn will qualify. What we've seen in the past with Jensen is a little bit of a tentative nature when it gets towards the end of a group situation. So I think he might be in a dogfight. So I can't commit to that. But as for Sam and Derek, I think they're in a very good position. Now,
I said earlier, you've done most of the work tonight, but based on what's happened already this week, you won't be thinking that, will you? What's the approach now going into tomorrow?
Probably same as tonight. Just treat it as another day. I'm not looking, I've got 6 points. I've just got to walk in here and go, right, if I win 3 out of my 4, then I've got a good chance. You know, well, 3 out of 4 will get me through, but that's the way I treat it today. Walk in, if I get 3 out of 4, I'm in it. I'm in for a shout. So just take every, I know it's easy to say, take every game as it comes, but that's all you can do.
Yeah, well, some great performances this week, some great performances tonight. Well done. We will see you tomorrow and hopefully on Saturday as well. Plenty of stuff coming up here on the Modus Super Series channel on Pluto TV. Next up, Scott Mitchell, not on the hockey, but on the farm. Great little watch that one is. He is showing us his day job. And following that, we're going to see, well, plenty of live action this week. Mervyn King back on the stage tomorrow in Group C as that concludes from 1 p.m. Group B will conclude from 10 p.m. tomorrow night as well. And then the big one. It is Champions Night on Saturday, 7:30. Scott Campbell already there. £25,000 on the line. Do not miss that. But in this group, it is Sam Spivey and Derek Coulson who lead the way and maybe just a step or two away from joining Scott Campbell as the race to Champions Night continues. Bye for now.
What a finish! What a man!
The drum roll finishes and the target is
it comes on finals night and it's a knockout.
Dirty Harrison!